What is going on, everybody? It is episode 234 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Nation. It's Mary. I am unreasonably giddy today about our new YouTube banner. Brett was making fun of me for it earlier. He's like, wow, Mary is laughing and smiling about something other than someone else's misfortune? This is crazy, unexpected.
Very strange to me, but I do know how much pretty colors and cute shapes pacify you.
Yay!
Yeah, exactly.
You might as well turn on Paw Patrol or Cocomelon for me.
One day we're going to have Cocomelon playing in the background. Like, everybody...
Mary's... Like, I hear the jingle. I'm like distracted.
And we have a guest host today. Would you introduce yourself, sir?
Hi there. I'm Ian Carlson. What's up, everybody? Good to see you.
How you doing today?
I'm great, man. And are you guys talking about the logo? Are you talking about this TV with the rabbit ears?
The TV is staying, but what we did, the banner on top of the YouTube page has been changed and kind of streamlined. It's much more...
And the profile picture, too.
Oh, looking good with the heartbeat. Yes. I actually had one of those TVs with the rabbit ears when I was like 15 in my bedroom. That's Fiddling with rabbit ears was a big part of my childhood.
Especially if you were trying to get into naughty channels that you're not allowed to... No. But I was thinking about it. I would have to buy a tube TV if I wanted to play Duck Hunt right now.
Really?
Well, yeah, the gun only works... I'm sure there's maybe an emulator or something that you can do that allows you to use it without it. But as far as I know, you can only play Duck Hunt with a tube TV.
Life hack or Duck Hunt hack, I would say. Take the light gun up to the TV and put it up against the TV and pull against the bottom of the screen and just pull the trigger and it'll hit a duck every time.
I'm pretty sure Bass Pro Shops had Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah,
available to play
or
in
no,
store.
Deer Hunter.
I remember. I'm still watching Mr. Robot, and they have a version of it in the show called Mallard Murder. I don't know.
Well, there was I was looking at a bunch of generic like costume ideas. It was like instead of the Justice League, it's like the Good Citizen League or something like that. And it's just a bunch of like generic dime store knockoffs of various. It's like Spaderman instead of Spider-Man.
Does he just carry a shovel?
He's just it's just Spider-Man, but the logos, the colors are all switched around and everything.
So you were thinking about having a costume on Monday?
I was. Well, no.
Is that correct?
I'm not. Are you?
Yes.
What are you going to be?
I'm not going to tell everyone now. It's going to be a reveal.
I figured it was going to be some type of. She's going to save it for the day on Monday. There's gonna be a costume contest here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Ian, do you dress up for Halloween?
I haven't in a long time. I used to go as a ninja. I don't know, man.
That's what I did. I was a ninja all the time.
Yeah, multiple like 5 years in a row. I went ninja.
I think my parents just liked it because it was very easy to make.
Super easy, badass. You get a pair of nunchucks, of course, foam nunchucks. I think the other one are illegal. It's actually illegal to own nunchucks.
I got the sword that we would go to the state fair and you'd get a plastic sword, and I would wear the plastic sword.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's good times, guys. We had a bunch of stuff to talk about today, so we are going to get into several things. We're going to talk about journalists and activists coming together as one to make everybody's life a little bit more miserable. They're basically saying that you should not go see Wakanda Forever on the opening weekend if you are of a certain complexion, because that's the world we live in these days. They probably want different water fountains, too. After that, we're going to talk about Disney and some very surprising news regarding their demo as far as their viewership breakdown on gender lines. And they kind of go, thank you. They go through a bit of gender line information on all the streaming services, which I believe, she's not here today, throws cold water on Hannah Claire's opinion that only men buy streaming services. So we'll look into that. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about Halloween costumes related to the original article is talking about whether it's okay for children to dress up as Encanto, because that's, they're not fun.
Because kids aren't allowed to have fun anymore, according to the experts.
You're literally not allowed to have fun. So we're going to do that. We're going to get Podluck. We got a bunch of other stuff. It's Friday. We're hanging out. So if you guys are ready, we will get right into it. Mary, are we ready?
Ready.
Ian, are we ready?
Ready.
All right. So it says, social justice activists say white people must skip Black Panther Wakanda Forever on opening weekend.
Let's just show this insane TikTok to everyone.
We're gonna,
and we can all just let it sink in.
So it's we got it right here. I'm gonna skip through this because I don't know if that's copyrighted.
This message is to all our would-be accomplices and white allies. This message is to all the white people who have BLM in their bio. If you really want to prove to Black people that you love us and you care about us and you are down for the cause, do not go see that movie opening weekend. You buy your ticket, you give it to a black person or a black family who can't afford to go. And then you go sit at that theater in front of the doors. You make sure that every black person in that theater can enjoy that movie in peace. You make sure that you use your body to block us from anybody who would be coming in that theater to do us harm. That is your job. You can go see it on another weekend. Go see it on the second or third weekend. But the first weekend, that's for us. To do anything other than this is anti-black.
Just the gigantic SJW glasses say it all, don't they?
Originally, my question was, is this a joke? Because there was some stuff that came out about this when the first Black Panther came out.
It's such a messed up thing to joke about because, firstly, it implies that there are people plotting to
do them harm,
do mass murder at movie theaters because of Wakanda Forever, which is there's no evidence to support that, and I don't think that you should even like joke about that. Firstly, but secondly. You're telling paranoid people to go in front of movie theaters ready to get in confrontations with anyone that walks up they believe to look suspicious. And like thirdly, it's just like race relations aren't really something that you're supposed to joke about on TikTok anyway.
No. It's
like actually pretty serious to bring that subject up. So it's just I am leaning towards complete sincerity from this woman.
And the reason I even thought it could be fake is because some similar stuff came out when they were advertising the original Black Panther, that they were saying something similar. I thought maybe this person was playing was making a joke.
But it's like Dark Knight fear-mongering and then Joker 2019 fear-mongering, where they journalists want something cataclysmic to happen at one of these screenings, which shows how ghoulish they are.
Let's talk about journalists, because we have this here from so my original inclination is that was fake. It's TikTok. Anybody can make a TikTok. But we have blue check journalists. Scott Menzel says, I challenge all non-POC critics and journalists, big and small, to email their PR contacts and give up your seat to tonight's Wakanda Forever premiere or tomorrow's screening to a critic or entertainment journalist of color. Voices matter. Representation matter.
Tell me this is not a psyop to suppress the box office numbers of Wakanda Forever's opening weekend. You're literally telling the majority of people planning to see it to not go.
It's also extremely racist to assume that black people are poor and can't afford to go to this movie, which was super unbelievably racist to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, imagine the reaction if you just walked up to a random black person and were like, do you want my charity? Do you want my ticket to this movie? Because you can't afford it, clearly. Yep. Like, what?
Who is that woman, by the way?
It's just a random. It's just an activist on TikTok. The reason I wanted to cover it was because of the journalist who also is parroting that belief. He also says, "I already gave my seat away for tomorrow." My conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat, is that he found out that the runtime was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and he's like, "I want to go."
2 hours and 40 minutes is way too long. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're trying to make this into some kind of memorial for Chadwick Boseman. It can be a normal length.
He's like, I will read the cliff notes and I'll report on it later. I'm not going to this. It's 2 hours.
Well, it's people who have already been invited to early screenings.
Yes. Well, also they're saying that give your ticket away to a journalist of color. How is that person just going to get in? They're not just going to let a random person in. You have to have a name attached with your ticket because you come from a specific outlet. Remember, journalists are all picked beforehand. They're not going to let in people they have not vetted.
Well, they don't worry about calling for a gesture that's actually feasible to accomplish.
Not feasible.
They just want to scare people.
Yep.
And I'm worried about who is taking this message seriously, because you can't win with these people. If you don't go to the movie, then you're not supporting representation in cinema. And then if you do go, you're actively taking a seat away from someone who could be seeing it and feel represented. It's like you're the villain in this situation no matter what. And I think Wakanda Forever has had some problems with its marketing that has sabotaged it from the very beginning, even though the original Black Panther movie was incredibly successful, and they didn't need to rely on this messaging to promote the sequel at all.
What was it? What did they do wrong?
Well, essentially the message is this movie is not for you, and then the proper way to respond to that is always wrong to someone.
Yeah.
Right?
There is no right answer.
Like, I saw these insane tweets about it from people saying, you know, just because this movie isn't about you doesn't mean that you need to criticize it. So someone responded to the trailer getting posted originally for Wakanda Forever saying, like, why should I care about this movie? And I'm sure it's just somebody who was dejected with all of the Marvel films. And that's why they said it. Mm-hmm. Not because they are, like, actually a hateful person.
Yeah.
And then someone replied, this movie is not for you, and that's okay. Not everything has to center around you. It's such a presumptuous thing to say. Like, did that person criticize it for not centering around them?
Well, also, that's a question you ask someone if you're actually asking them what is your pitch for this movie? What's the hook? What are you trying to do to get me to actively spend my hard-earned money to come out to the theater? Like, movies are extremely expensive these days. To go to a movie, if you're going to get popcorn, if you're going to get drinks, tickets, not at a matinee time, you're spending $50 to $60 minimum for, like, just yourself and one other person. More if you're going with a family. Hundreds of dollars get spent. You can't just market on guilt and divisive, weird, we should all be at different drinking fountains identity politics, which is what they want. I don't know where we go from this as a society if everything has to be judged on racial lines. It's kind of sickening.
Yeah. On the other hand, I saw a tweet reacting in the other extreme saying, because of the toxic racism of the Black Panther fan base towards white people, I'm boycotting Wakanda Forever. The MCU is not a place for you to exhibit or project your hate.
I don't even like that argument because it's one thing if the cast is doing that. The cast can't control how the fan base reacts.
Yeah, and I am sure that if the cast or people involved in the creation of this movie saw this insane TikTok, they would be like, please don't listen to this person. I want you to support what I just
come spend your money
put out there. Like, it's actively hurting the people who produced this movie to discourage people from seeing it on its opening weekend, because the opening weekend influences how the next weeks go.
Yeah, that's my first thought. As a producer, it's devastating to have your fan base come out and tell people not to go.
Yeah, well, it's, one thing I've been pointing out lately is, like, critics might affect your opening weekend box office, but word of mouth is how you keep your drops from being super low. That's how you keep things going, right? Is with good word of mouth.
Now, if you know that Wakanda Forever is going to appeal to a certain part of your fan base because of representation, I understand that point. But also, there needs to also be an element of universality and relatability to the film for everyone who goes to see it.
Yeah.
And that's what the first one accomplished because they made so much money off of it.
Yeah.
You can't sabotage the sequel with this same tired marketing scheme that alienates people and divides them.
Movies and TV shows should be based around universal concepts and principles that can appeal to a much larger, maybe not for everyone, but for a larger group than subdivided into categories that you can't control, like your race, your gender, and your sexuality and stuff like that.
The snark is what gets me the most. Here's another tweet that said, a message to anyone complaining about Wakanda Forever. Not everything is made for you. You are selfish to think otherwise. The world does not revolve around you. There are people who connect to these stories and characters. Don't like it? Find the exit. And they were referring to The Little Mermaid as well. And it's really preempting so much hate and vitriol where it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone on social media after scouring through Twitter. I haven't seen anyone saying, I'm not going to see Wakanda Forever because it doesn't represent me as a white person.
Yeah. Well, and nobody should
In fact, it's the exact opposite.
It's like nobody should be saying that about anything. Like, anybody of any race and gender should go see a Batman movie or any type of movie just because you want to go see the movie, not because of the people in the movie look like you.
And remember, like, the fear-mongering that preceded the release of the 2019 Joker.
Yeah.
I think that ghoulish, twisted desire to see something go wrong and to see people actually fear for their lives in seeing a film that they like in theaters is, like, just so sickening and something only journalists will shamelessly put out into the ether.
Oh, the journalists are the evil people here. They are. The journalists are the one that are looking to divide everyone for clicks.
They don't care who sees it. They actually are rooting for someone to attack a theater showing this movie.
There was a movie about that called Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, and they were his job was to go around at night and find horrible car crashes and murders and deaths, and break the story.
Yeah.
Gets to the point where, spoiler alert, is that okay? Do you
That's
give
good.
spoilers?
You're good.
That he starts creating the conflict in the chaos so that he can get clicks on his stuff. It's a modern journalist nightmare.
It's like what's it called? Hero Homicide, with firefighters that start fires so that they can be the one to go in and save the day, right?
Yeah.
Like that's journalists like, well, there's nothing bad happening in the world. I wonder if I could make something bad happen in the world.
Journalists
today.
are literally the people shouting fire in a crowded theater.
I was like, I think this was last night before I fell asleep. I was thinking, what if I woke up tomorrow and everything was cool? Like, would people be cool with that if everything was fine?
I mean,
I look at Twitter and I think no.
I know it's almost like people are addicted to the chaos
Well,
or the hate or it's not even chaos. It's the evil. It's like people are addicted to the evil, and without it, they feel lost or something. It's really starting to disconcert me.
Well,
they need an antagonist,
Yeah.
so they'll create one if they have to.
Well, even people that just like overt drama all the time, like that's a personality type that will never make sense to me, because that type of stuff is really draining to me. Having to be interpersonally combative on a regular basis is not something that I would want to do. But there are some people who, I'm not talking about physically combative, I'm talking about psychologically, when you communicate with people. There are people that look for that type of drama in their lives, and it gives them fire, like it gives them energy to be like that. And I will never understand that mindset. But that's, you're never going to get a world where it's just cool all the time.
Yeah,
it would be nice.
I think it's a form of empowerment to battle conflict. And like that girl that was saying, "Don't go see the movie," was very much like it was like a power creep. Like she was trying to seize power. Do this, and when you do it this way.
Well, also notice
I'm affecting you.
She still wanted you to spend money on it. She still wanted you to go to the theater and spend money on the tickets, but give your tickets away.
I wish there was a way to judge movies based on how much they were enjoyed, as opposed to how much money they made.
Yeah, I thought about that
that's what you look
too.
at for me. I never look at how I never care about how like well a movie's made. For me, a movie, it's all about how it left you feeling when you left the theater. Like I can like look at a movie, see all the objective flaws, and as long as I find the characters likable and the story concludes well enough, I can forgive a lot of flaws for that. I want to talk about about the lady here in this article where she says, I'm trying to picture her logic. Where are you going to find the poor people you're going to give the tickets to? Like, are they just going to be
Craigslist?
outside? Are they just going to be outside of the theater waiting around? Is that what she's imagining?
It's just setting people up for the most awkward interaction ever.
It's like the story Tim would tell when he would go to
It's like, do you want my tickets? I'm going to stand outside the theater and wait for a murderer to come and kill you, and I'll save you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be your white savior. Like, that's so just like, are you insane?
They're
like
insane.
Who would take that kindly?
I don't imagine that.
I'm picturing some spaghetti-armed Redditor sitting outside of a movie theater pretending to be a big, strong bodyguard, but they wouldn't stop anyone.
Stopping to take a soy face picture.
Like,
every 5
anyone
minutes.
who actually would fall for this nonsense is not capable of being a human shield.
No, not at all. But I wonder if this is one of those things. The things get better in society as long as this type of propaganda, and what she did is absolutely propaganda. Like, as long as that exists, do things get better? Can we move past it?
Nothing can be cool and fun and uniting anymore. Look at like old videos covering the box office opening weekends for the old Star Wars movies, and how diverse, like actually diverse, the lines waiting for that type of movie
Geek
were.
culture was always more diverse than just about every other culture to begin with.
And it's been the most unfairly maligned
for being
as being exclusive to a certain type of person. That never was the case.
Nope. It was you'd hear the jokes about, like, what's your favorite, name 3 of their.
I mean, okay, arguably maybe it was exclusive to men. But even then it's like that's just who it naturally attracted. Those are the people who naturally enjoyed that genre. And sure, there was a minority of female fans for certain films, but like that's just how things naturally parsed out.
Yeah.
There was no rule that you couldn't see or enjoy things because of your identity or your sexuality or your race.
Yeah. When I was younger, it seemed like boys were nerdy, girls were never really nerdy. You'd have a few girls that you might consider nerdy, but it seems like there's a lot more nerdy girls now. Yeah. I don't know why.
It's been kind of democratized.
Fake geek girls.
I love it, by the way.
We're going to talk about it later in Disney, that the marketing is going hard to push girls into these spaces that they naturally like. Society literally, like, evolution is telling them not to go here, but like late stage capitalism. It's a joke. But like these corporations are like, no, you're going to go in here because they're just looking for new demographics to cover. And then you have activists like Kathleen Kennedy making shirts that say the future is female and automatically dividing Star Wars down gender lines in like 2015. Like, you just can't win. You can't win. I don't know if this is going to happen outside of these genres. Like, nobody's going out to... Okay, let's go back. They made Bros. Nobody was going outside the theater telling straight people to not go see Bros. They were trying to get straight people to go see the movie. They just did it badly. They just didn't know how to market it. Right,
but we're going to talk about that as well further.
But identity politics in general don't work.
Not for business. I don't think so. I don't. This push for like ESG, environmental social governance, is very strange because it's like identity politics trying to trump like voting with your dollar, which
is what you should be doing for everything.
As soon as the power goes out, you're just back to voting with your dollar again.
Yeah, unless a movie or TV show or a video game, whatever you have, features adult sexual themes, then I understand why that would exclude certain ages from watching it or playing it. But otherwise, the message around a product should never be, this is not for you.
Yeah.
Because people will listen. They will not go see your thing. Like the Velma reboot series.
Is that out yet?
That spin-off from HBO Max. I'm not sure if that's out yet. But like I wouldn't know anyway because they told me it wasn't for me. Nobody is going to watch it if you tell them not to watch it explicitly.
There's a weird desire, and we're getting now into the creators, where the creators want to tell you that something's not for you. That's not That's not the case here. Nobody working on Wakanda Forever is telling you to not go see it. It's just weird fans of Disney.
And if they saw this, they'd have to condemn it because they're like, why are you actively trying to sabotage this thing that we're passionate about?
Yep. I still think this journalist just didn't want to go see the movie. And it's like, how can I get out of it and still look like the good guy? And this was his way to do so. Maybe.
And then the TikToker journalist or whatever she called herself. She called herself an activist, a social reform activist. She just wanted to get free tickets.
Yeah. She's mad that nobody offered her tickets to the movie, to the premiere.
Is that girl in the thumbnail?
Yeah. No. That's when it starts from the movie. We're talking about the one from the video that we watched earlier.
That's that thing behind you I was looking at.
No, that's the lady who starred in the movie. Oh, yes, that's her. That's her. Different thumbnail, cool. Guys. So we'll see. Yeah, the glasses even real, or is that a filter?
Tell. Those are real.
They're real? Okay. From this, you couldn't tell.
Those are real.
It's...
Can't believe it's been so long since current year 2015, and there are still chicks on college campuses wearing glasses that look like that.
They look like helicopter landing pads on their face.
Yeah.
All right, let's go super chats.
Waffle Sensei said, Ian, we missed you last night. Cheers. Bro, freedom wins. I didn't know you were not.
Thanks, dog. Yeah, Jack Posobiec made a surprise visit.
Oh, look at that.
I took the evening off. Looked like a fun show.
Rega Tan said, Ian, did you ask Tim why he won't play Elden Ring?
No, I never did. But I'll tell you why I won't play Elden Ring.
Okay.
I'm just not into those kind of games.
Not your thing?
Do you guys ever play...
Dane loves those games.
What's the...
Dark Souls?
Yeah, the Dark Souls. Adam Krigler was a huge fan. He always kept trying to get me into it, but... just a little too slow, and then once you figure out how to beat it, you just beat it every time. There's no like replay, as far as I can tell, replayability.
Mm-hmm. I'm a vintage. Mine's like 8-bit, 16-bit, and 64-bit and under.
I'm huge into turn-based strategy games, man, all the way. Like I'm gonna go play what's next? RimWorld. The new RimWorld expansion's out, where you can have kids. God, that game's phenomenal.
Excellent.
Caper2X said, Peeps, Brett Cooper is dressing up as Kim Possible for Halloween. Are you planning to dress as your hero, Ron Stoppable, to match her, Brett? The world wonders. Calm down, Mary. Howdy, Ian.
I don't think that would work because she's taller than me, so I don't think the costumes would line up.
Oh, I can't remember if Ron Stoppable was
I'm assuming.
taller or shorter. That would be fun, though. You should do it.
As an overture.
Yeah, yeah. Potatoes for Seamus said, Rega Tan, what's your favorite part of Elden Ring? And then Rega Tan responded saying, Limgrave is my hood, Seamus for potatoes.
So, yes, and is Seamus for potatoes different than potatoes for Seamus? We may never know.
Keys said, is Timcast any closer to filling the empty time slots? I need more people talking about stuff in my ear.
Well, what time are the empty time slots?
What empty time slot? I guess between when we go off air and
Yeah.
when they go on air.
So from 5:30 to 8.
Yeah, that hour and a half is.
So you need a show
Not
from
filled.
5:30 to 8? Is that what you're telling me?
That or maybe get some food.
Just try to tolerate your own thoughts.
Hey, that's
for
hard. That's not
an
easy.
hour.
That's not easy. That's,
The Pascal challenge.
I was thinking about it the other day because I was thinking about like how much time I spend like watching stuff with the like paused, but I'm actually looking at my phone when that's happening. So I'm not actually alone with my thoughts. I'm alone with whatever I'm concentrating on that screen. Very rarely do I'm not really alone with my own thoughts these days until I go to bed. I mean, when I'm working, but that's not really being alone with your thoughts. You're working.
Yeah, you. The challenge from Pascal is to have an hour to yourself, just in like a dimly lit room, just like nothing, no entertainment, no sounds, no books.
Sensory
Just sit
deprivation tank. You ever use one of those?
That's an extreme version of it. I don't know if I would be able to do that.
That'd be great. Rogan takes mushrooms and goes into those things.
Of course he does.
Sounds
of course he
phenomenal.
That
does.
sounds terrifying.
I love it.
Crembus Bembus said, love from IE. I think that's Ireland. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Big Dave sent us $1.99 without a message.
Thank you,
Thank
Dave.
you. Bad Adam 12 said the cast could reject this nonsense and refuse to be involved with it. We all need to start ignoring these films. Don't watch or comment on them. Let them die on the vine. I don't think it's Wakanda Forever's fault that some parts of their fan base are toxic and
Granted,
putting
I
out
don't.
content like this.
Disney doesn't help. Disney.
No, yeah.
At least when you think about how the Star Wars creators and the people in the Star Wars fan base are, Disney isn't exactly doing.
They
a great
respond
job of,
to only fake astroturfed controversies
Yeah.
that forward their agenda.
Yep.
I don't think that anyone involved in Wakanda Forever would realistically respond to this activist and say like, hey, please don't put forth a message that excludes certain audiences from watching our film.
I'm sure we'll see at least a few articles that have like annoying headlines leading up to the release of this premiere.
And
with,
afterwards.
talking about the fake importance of a movie that is not actually culturally important, because no superhero movie, regardless of who makes it or the topic, is actually culturally important.
After it's out, then it's going to be, if you didn't like Wakanda Forever, don't talk about the fact that you didn't like it, because then you're demanding that it should be about you.
Yeah.
And that you should be at the center of it. Bad App said, are the segregated drinking fountains going to be filled with pumpkin spice lattes and Kool-Aid?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Mixed together?
Mixed
That's absolutely disgusting. B Mafia 716 said, movie recommendation 2047 Virtual Revolution. This movie speaks to what is happening in today's society.
I will have to check it out. I've never seen
Possibly
it.
metaverse related.
Let's see it.
Terrence Rice said, play Hyperlight Drifter. It's a 16-bit style reminiscent of Zelda in gameplay. Very cryptic story, great combat. Also, SJWs need to chill out.
One of
No
the types
kidding.
of games I was enjoying a lot, like on 64, was like the old racing games, like Cruising USA, and San Francisco. What was it called? San Francisco Rush. Like really good, like driving games that like very chill.
I used to play a lot of pole position on the Atari.
Good
It
times.
was kind of a joke, but I did. No, I actually played a lot. Yeah, I think it was pole position.
I never had. I mean, Atari was before my time.
Yeah, 1983,
Yeah,
something like that.
I wasn't quite around yet.
It was pole position.
Nate Parrott said, hey crew, love you guys. Ian, you should try a game called Phoenix Point. I think you'll enjoy the gameplay, my dude.
Thank you. And I also did see Hyper Light Drifter look pretty cool, but games like real time, games where I can't like pause. Well, you can probably pause and get up and walk away, but I really like turn-based stuff where I can take my time, and then if something else comes up, I can like go address the people in the room and kind of let the game be in the, on the side burner. Right. Dude, I love talking video games, by the way. If you guys want to go deep, man, I'm playing Slay the Spire last night, or I was watching a lot of gameplay footage of Amaz playing Slay the Spire. Highly recommend it. Keep those super chats coming. Any kind of video game content you want to talk about.
More recommendations.
All right. We're going to move on, guys. This one is very interesting. So if you guys don't know, me and Hannah Claire have gone back and forth in the past.
It's a very interesting debate.
Where she says that she believes that only men buy streaming services. And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of straw manning her argument here a little bit.
What she said is that men are more likely to be the subscribers on subscription-based streaming platforms, and then women are likely to just share accounts with those men who have the subscriptions. And that means that like even if we see viewers on these streaming services skewed female, they might have a subscription account that is owned by a male.
I thought her argument was that men are more likely to have multiple streaming services and women aren't.
Maybe women are likely to pick their favorite one and not multiple, and then men will have multiple and share it with like women.
So this article says Disney Plus skews heavily male, and it might explain the Star Wars and Marvel failures. That is insane to me to think that Disney Plus of all of them would be the one that skews towards men. Yes, Star Wars and Marvel are uniquely were used at one time male-dominated properties, right? But now they're marketed almost exclusively to women and people that are just generally fanboys of Disney, which I would still assume are women.
Well, Marvel and Marvel and Star Wars, little boys love those in the 80s, man.
But now
they're all 45 years old.
It's because of what they've acquired onto the platform that attracts a more male-skewed audience.
But those men are now in their 40s and they're being told that they're bad on these shows.
Total
it's ironic.
So it says the ratings for the shows have been in the gutter, and various professional analysts and Wall Street executives have doubted both brands' ability to bring in Disney Plus subscribers. Let's look at this graph here. So it shows gender skew by platform catalog, and this is the most interesting part, is the only ones that skew male are Disney Plus and HBO Max.
HBO Max not even by a lot, but they have DC content.
Yeah, well, and DC animated, and they've got Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I imagine, skews male.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stuff. So between HBO Max, it looks like HBO Max and Amazon Prime are the most closely gendered, right there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon
and
Prime.
then Netflix is slightly female skewed. Yep. Peacock and Hulu are heavily female skewed. I think that's because they have reality shows and also shows like with female protagonists like Dropout, like The Act.
But Apple TV is like almost all pretentious.
True crime.
Apple TV is almost all pretentious art house type stuff. So I would have imagined
docu-series
that would have skewed men. But Disney Plus skews 14.6% towards male audiences. So I'm wondering who the hell this stuff is for, because they're literally being sold products that tell them that they're bad people, i.e. She-Hulk, right?
Right. It's ironic. They've had these properties that they used to love acquired by Disney, and then Disney has perverted them, but they keep them as subscribers because they likely forgot that they ever bought the platform in the first place, right?
I think the men are just glutton for punishment.
Are they?
Yeah, and they're men that just put up with it and don't realize that the people that are making this stuff are actively anti-male. Like I said, Kathleen Kennedy had the shirts, and the 2015 when they were working on The Force Awakens, it said the future is female. That is a very, very clear inclination that they're working towards identity politics and making it about anything but what it should be about, which is fun.
It's easier to give a platform a chance to impress you than to find out that it's actively using things you love to spite you and then ending your subscription. That's a lot more effort is involved in ending a subscription than starting one, of course.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they work it.
Has anybody ever tried to cancel an Amazon Prime subscription?
Yeah, they
it's
make
hilariously
it intentionally
difficult.
almost impossible.
The button moves to like different parts of the screen. It's like, are you sure?
It's like a big
But are you
mind
sure? Are you
game.
sure? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that aspect to it. And then also
they change the order of the button. Like
Right.
confirm is always on this side. They move it over to this side. For the final button. Yeah, they do everything in their power
that's
to
for
keep you from
probably all subscription
Yeah.
platforms, but Disney Plus is no exception. And just psychologically, like, you're more likely to put up with things
Yeah.
after you started a subscription than to finally put your foot down. And we can also see that people are expressing their distaste for what Disney Plus is doing with Marvel and Star Wars because of the massive disparity between audience scores, audience ratings, and critic ratings on things like She-Hulk. We see that, remember when we were reviewing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, we saw a precipitous drop in viewership week by week as they were putting that show out. And that means that the fan base essentially told the platform what they want and don't want. And the producers of these shows still don't listen. They don't care what reception they get. It's all about the message and the impact they think these things can have on new people, like new audiences who weren't familiar with it to begin with.
Yesterday we were talking about, I think somebody like misinterpreted what I was saying, and it might have been my own fault for language, about like, I think they thought I was calling Fast and the Furious a guys only movie as if there was only men in the movie. But what I'm saying is that when you're operating in a space that would generally be men, it makes more sense and you don't have to work as hard to make it feel like the world actually fits together. Whereas when you insert female characters into roles that don't seem like they fit anywhere within that world, you have to work harder to suspend your disbelief. And one of the reasons that so much of this stuff doesn't work anymore is the shoehorning of stuff into spaces where they wouldn't normally go. And that goes hand in hand with these properties that aren't selling well, like your She-Hulk, like any of these ones. They're making an Agatha series based on the character from WandaVision. But like those kind of work, they don't divide things up the way they used to in a way that felt like it made sense with characters. And when something comes across phony, you'll never be able to get away from that and start over again.
And it's not just that they are hateful toward men, but they're also overwhelming the viewers with volume of content.
Yeah.
It's all quantity over quality on Disney Plus, it seems.
I feel like if you want to empower women, generally as a marketing tactic, say like you have but you want to do it at a mechanic shop. Okay, you don't go in there and put up like women are the best all over the walls because mechanics primarily, I would imagine, are men. Let's just assume they are. Yeah. What you want to do is go in there and empower men to be their best selves so that it trickles out and then begins to empower the women around those men. Mm-hmm. You do not cudgel them.
Well, there was the UCLA diversity report that just came out recently that was talking about gains and losses based on gender, race, and all this stuff. And it's the most depressing thing to look at, just how much effort they go into to subdividing everyone into categories.
Yeah, and more than that, I think if the psychological game here is that they're going to pervert male-skewed entertainment to cudgel men.
Yeah.
You're going to make men more antagonistic towards women by doing that.
Yep.
If they feel that they can't find any place where they're accepted or just not hated, then you're going to further divide men and women, not empower women.
Also,
right?
one very, very interesting part about this article is if you notice that Disney Plus is 14% skews male, Hulu is 10.1% skews female. Hulu is 70% owned by Disney, so they actually keep from both sides of the spectrum and win either way. Because Disney owns so much of Hulu.
Because anywhere you run.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. You're going to get stuck with Disney stuff. But I see less of you don't hear a lot about divisive politics coming out of Peacock because nobody cares about Peacock.
Because it's all about, watching the Real Housewives battle it out.
I'm not sure if
You
that's.
know?
I thought that might have been Peacock, but I'm not 110% sure. But all of them, like in general, I guess Paramount
That might be
screwed up.
Showtime.
Yeah, Paramount screwed up when they did the Halo series, and then just they kind of fell into their own Disney spiral when they did the Halo series, and they're like they took
Doesn't
Master Chief.
Paramount have Top Gun Maverick?
They
That's
own,
probably
yeah,
a big
that's
draw.
that's Paramount. Well, yeah, and they have Yellowstone, which is Peacock has Yellowstone. Paramount Plus has 1883, which is a Yellowstone prequel. But all of those shows, and what was the other one that he did with Jeremy Renner, Mayor of Kingstown or something like that, based on a guy who's like working in the prison system. But like those are generally less divisive to me than the big ones. It's really just Disney and Netflix where you see the worst. And of course, we've got it with Prime with Lord of the Rings. But in general,
Yeah, the battleground of critic versus audience reviews is common between all of these platforms, regardless of how they skew.
you don't hear anybody
gender-wise.
arguing about crap coming out on Apple TV because like what the hell comes out on Apple TV that people actually watch?
Gutsy?
Was that?
That's why I thought Apple TV would skew female. They have these stupid docu-series or like
Yeah.
autobiographical documentary content.
Netflix
like
seems-
Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton
Somebody asked us
talking
to
to
review that.
Megan the Stallion about feminism or something.
People tried to ask us to review that. I was like, no.
Hell no.
Life is too short.
I mean, I am a hate watcher, and even I have boundaries.
Yep. So to me, they talk about these shows that did exceptionally well, like most in-demand digital original series by platform in the United States. Stranger Things being the highest rated out of all of them. Not
That's
extremely
crazy to me.
divisive. At least I don't think so. I think Stranger Things is
No.
considered uniquely. We had a weird discussion about Millie Bobby Brown earlier. That she had a really annoying article earlier that I wasn't a huge fan of. But
Well,
you don't
she's
attach
talking
her.
about that. You have to whine about feminism before your movie comes out, which is Enola Holmes 2.
They're like, yes, we have
Unrelated.
to. Yeah, you have to whine about feminism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got that. We've got The Mandalorian, very highly rated, also created by two guys, not women, and starring a male character. People didn't care about that. Then they fired Gina Carano. Our Flag Means Death. I have not seen that. The Boys, highly rated, and we've talked about The Boys being one of the kings of like marketing to one group, but then somehow
You
getting-
accidentally got success with another group and then ended up hating your fan base.
Yeah. Who? Which one is The Handmaid's Tale? Is that Hulu?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't know which one who released
think it is
The Handmaid's
Hulu.
Tale. Believe it or not, I'm not the target demographic for The Handmaid's Tale.
Neither am I.
So, out of all of these, I watch HBO Max and Hulu the most. I've only been watching Amazon Prime recently because that's where Bosch is on, and I'm just going through that show again recently and sticking through it. But otherwise, I watch HBO Max and Hulu the most, it feels like.
Handmaid's Tale's on Hulu.
Okay, it's on Hulu. So, and I don't know anyone. Peacock has WWE. That feels like that would skew male.
True.
That feels like that would skew male.
Yeah, and I thought that with HBO Max Discovery, that merger would make it more balanced as well.
Well, I don't think that that's all that content's been moved over yet.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Where's the Great British Baking Show? Women love
do
that
they?
one.
I thought that was on Netflix.
I don't know. I don't
That was on
remember.
Netflix. Also, we have this thing from Disney CEO asks if the company is too woke, says it will cater to audience. What did he say in this, Mary?
He essentially dodged the question.
Yes, he's like-
is really what happened. But when they asked him about criticism that Disney has become too woke on Wednesday, Bob Chapek said, "The world is a rich, diverse place, and we want our content to reflect that."
There's nothing wrong with that, but the problem is
Yeah.
that the content that's for everyone is marketed for everyone, but then the content that they make for the what they call the rich, diverse place is always marketed as that type of content rather than just good content that everyone should watch.
I like that Bob Chapek kind of seems like a soulless executive.
Oh, yeah.
Because when they asked him about personal attacks against him, he said, "My own personal feelings aren't really important.
I love it.
What's important is how people think about our company." And people really do hate him. I name searched him on Twitter and found that people just think he is a soulless robot.
I love it. I'm here for. Like, I don't like Chapek because I think he's kind of awful at his job, and I think he caved to the political side of stuff when the parental rights and education bill became a big deal in Florida.
But really, he'll do whatever he thinks is the most PR friendly.
But I love
and sometimes he makes mistakes.
I love the archetype of the soulless executive, the soulless defense lawyer. Like, I love the guy who just puts his job first and leaves his feelings out of it, because we're in an increasingly feelings-based world where everyone's basing everything on how they emotionally react to stuff. I like the idea of Bob Chapek making all his decisions, or David Zaslav going through and just taking his Warner Brothers scythe and just cutting down everything that isn't going to make any money, because he doesn't give a crap about identity politics. He doesn't give a crap what gender you are. His question is, we're about to go into a recession. Are you going to bring in any freaking money for this company?
Recently, Bob Chapek had some comments about animation, I believe at the same press conference, that really pissed people off.
I think was a Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, from the Wall Street Journal. He said, when adults put their kids to bed at night after watching an animated film, they're probably not going to tune into another animated movie. They want something for them. And then people posted these, exceptions to that rule that they believe appeal to adults, like The Lion King, Tarzan, Up, Wall-E. They talked about
all of Cartoon Network in the mid 2000s.
Like all of these non-CGI animated movies that they think are all age appropriate, and they thought that he just sounded like a stuffy old boomer for saying that.
And he is.
So someone made fun of him saying, Bob Chapek quoted saying, "Animation is for kids, babies even. And I'm not a baby, I'm a big boy. And big boys enjoy grown-up stuff like CGI." Followed by announcing live-action remakes of all beloved animated classics.
When you think about it, Disney is very cynically, like, they just moved from subgroup to subgroup, making things to market to very, very small groups of people. All the live action videos are just ways of selling something that will both appeal to the adults who can then bring their kids to it. It's literally like, okay, we got this one where we could get just the kids in the seat. We got this one we could just get the adults in the seat. How can we get both of them to come at the same time? It's very soulless and depressing in a way.
How can we get both the parents and the kids to go to the Little Mermaid reboot?
Yeah, at the same time.
Make it live action and make it woke.
Yeah,
the kids will be too oblivious to care, and the parents will think that they're instilling values in their children by watching it.
And he did kind of step in it when Disney decided to get involved in politics. It's very stupid, and I hate that part about Disney. But I don't care about Bob Chapek. I love the archetype of the soulless CEO and the soulless defense lawyer who will just do anything for money.
I love it.
Pro-capitalism here. I love it. That's what it's all about.
Because it's anti-synergy.
Yes.
It's like, no, we don't have company values, and we don't make decisions based on what aligns with them.
I'm sick of companies telling me that they have values.
Right.
It's not your job to have values.
We were talking about that in regard to Adidas and Kanye West, how they cut ties with him supposedly because he said things that don't, quote, align with company values. And it's like, you could just admit that was because of a dive in your stock price. Yeah. Right?
Like, it's like, oh, do the sweatshops...
be more honest.
Do the sweatshops you guys all operate align with your values? No, they do not.
Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't matter. Just be like, look, he was making us money. He's not making us money anymore. We're cutting ties. I would have more respect. It's kind of like whenever have you ever noticed, like, if you read like a CNN or an MSNBC, God help you if you do, but like sometimes they'll make an article or write an article that accidentally comes across semi-fair to the other side on both sides, right? Like if you like Fox News or Newsmax or anything, personally, I get a little bit excited when I see a little bit of fairness from both sides towards the other side. Like, and I'm more likely to trust you if you're just honest with me, right? So if Disney just says, look, we're losing money by doing something this way, at least they're honest. Like, I don't expect you to have values. You're a corporation filled with rich and entitled people at the executive level and daily workers who make a pittance under you, all of which have different values, upbringings, and ways in which they believe living life is right or wrong. I don't expect one cohesive view of the world from something like that. That's stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me.
But it is puzzling that at times they just don't behave in a way that shows profit is king. Like they put out something like Reflect on a heavily male skewed platform because it aligns with the values of, some people at the top of their company.
Some of that could be born out of those workshops that are done for diversity programs, proof of concept ideas. There's a lot of money to be made in creating proof of concept art and things like that could lead to stories later down the line. Like they've got the money for stuff like that. And it's one of those things. I want a little bit more honesty from these people, even if it's soulless. And like, it would be funnier if one of these companies like, look, we're inherently corrupt. And we just want to make a bunch of money. Is that okay? I'd be like, yes, that is okay. Like, it's better than lying to me.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me you want to make.
Unfortunately, I don't think they'll ever do that.
Just tell me you want to make a crap ton of money. It's kind of like Jeremy's Razors. He's like, stop giving money to people who hate you. Give it to us. Like, I don't need you to be a good person. I need you to not frickin' to just tell me a pitch on how to make money.
Yeah, but if money were really all that they were after, I think that they would be trying harder to prioritize quality in the shows that they're putting out, especially.
Then I have an interesting question. Remember in 2008 when the banks failed, right? Is there such a thing as these corporations? Are they too big to fail?
Is Disney too big to fail?
Any of these, are they too big to fail?
They're too big to fail, but not too big to be overtaken, at least by a bigger competitor.
I don't think anybody could buy Disney. Like, at this point, I don't know who would buy Disney that it wouldn't make it a monopoly.
Not in the near future.
No.
But, it's possible.
But I just think about all these, like, Disney doesn't just own Disney. Disney owns a bunch of small newspapers and media companies and all these conglomerates and stuff like that. And you think about the power that has. Like, when Disney purchased 20th Century Fox, they weren't allowed to buy the news branch of it because of, what do you call it, not anti-slap laws. You know what I'm talking about?
No. Wait, what do you mean?
Like they weren't allowed.
Antitrust, you talking about?
Yeah, they weren't allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to buy it because they already owned ABC Media or ABC News or whatever. So they weren't allowed to own more than one news network or something like that. I could be misremembering that.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking, like, is there like any company or any of these companies so big now that they just wouldn't be allowed to fail, considering how much money they bring into the economy every year?
Those would be like BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, which own collectively the three companies 14%, 15, 16% of Disney. They own between 14 and 20% of like almost every publicly traded corporation on earth. So those are the monopolies. Are they too big to fail? I don't know. No, because if it gets sour at the top and the people that own those companies become hated.
Thank you guys.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
By who? Governments, militaries, aliens. Yeah. I don't know. An asteroid could come and knock them out. Like, they're not impervious, but I don't think that there's any intention to stop their monopolies at this point from the people that run the show.
I just always think of these companies like, and people are like, whoa, go broke. I'm like, not really. Not with Netflix, not with Disney. What it is like, if anything, being akin to being in tune to stuff like this is just a great way to start picking stocks for the future. Like, every time you see something bad happen to Disney, go and buy in just a little bit because eventually the stock will reclimb back up. It always seems like they always rebound. I know Disney's stock is down.
But remember the subscriber loss for Netflix?
Yeah.
They never had anything to worry about.
No. They might sell, like, the people at the top might one day decide, like, it's time, Disney's done now. They sell all their stock in IP and then crash it completely and bankrupt the other 88% of the stockholders and take like 1,000 times their money and then create a new company with the same power because they're still invested in them. Yeah. You could see stuff like that. I trust none of it. And nothing's too big to fail.
All right, that's good. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Carnell said Brett ought to consider going as Garth in hockey gear for Halloween or go as a gun rack.
A
gun rack would be a little more difficult.
That would be freaking hilarious. I'm so down.
Solid Monkey said, Ian, if you like turn-based games and D&D, you should check out Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. It's a great RPG.
Is it? I have Kingmaker Pathfinder, which I like quite a bit.
NYC Diesel said, Ian, favorite SNES RPG?
Oh, yeah, I saw that ahead of time. Final Fantasy VI, which on the Super Nintendo was Final Fantasy III, but it is the sixth Final Fantasy in Japan.
Dane loves Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, man, we have great conversations. Dane, where you at?
B Mafia 716 said you can bundle ESPN Plus with Disney so that it could explain the larger male subscription.
That makes sense. I'm not sure if that's how that would, because it wouldn't.
You can also bundle like your Amazon subscription with Paramount Plus and HBO Max.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Showtime, and maybe also Peacock.
I don't know if those go. I'm assuming the money splits then between
Yes.
Amazon Prime. The Amazon Prime just gets a cut of whatever they get to subscribe through there.
Yeah. 1,000 Foot Deep End said, I can't help but think part of the reason for more nerdy girls now is feminists telling girls that nerdy stuff was a no girls allowed club they needed to force their way into, like the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, that.
So they're not genuinely interested in those products or that entertainment.
Also, I want to point out, Dead Man pointed out that there was a typo in the name today.
Oh, what was
it?
it?
I had people, white people.
Oh my gosh.
That's 3 in 1 week, guys.
Great. Now Brett is going to go on his Instagram story again and openly just
shame
himself.
Put a couple commas in there so his journalist tells people white people. Or
Refresh
put it in
it.
parentheses to
Refresh
sit
it,
out Wakanda Forever.
refresh it, see if it changes it. I changed it.
Oh,
I don't know if
gosh.
you can change it midstream.
Yeah, you did. It fixed midstream, yeah.
Yeah, it worked. It
3 in 1 week, guys. I'm having a
boy.
I'm having a fantastic week.
I need to
this week.
keep a closer eye on you.
I am
when
so
you're typing
happy.
that out.
I am so happy. Thank you for telling me that I'm basically belong on a bus that is not a regular bus.
Updates on Brett Dasovic Instagram story later on.
Later
today.
on, this is. I'm so glad it's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I am so glad that it's Friday.
It's happening because it's Friday.
Yes.
Luger Lynx said, playing RimWorld right now, winter is hell and my slaves keep dying, or at least the ones I'm not using as a blood supply.
Yeah, I like the new vampire storyline. I'm looking forward to it.
Matt said, happy Friday, PCC. Just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Love the show and thanks for all the hard work you put in. It shines through.
Well, not when I'm spilling out thumbnails, but other than that, we're doing
great.
We're doing great work other than the thumbnails.
Well, we
the
have
text.
a new YouTube banner, so that's enough for me.
Yes,
I'm
we're good.
still
with the new
excited
YouTube-
about it.
with the new YouTube banner.
Unreasonably excited about it. Halls and the Kid, speaking of which, said, Ian ever played FF Tactics Advance?
Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Advance.
And but I made the mistake of power leveling excessively so that I was so strong I ran into a random encounter with a bunch of chocobos. And the black chocobo that scales to your level, the high level chocobos are unbeatable. They have so much range and they move and they hit so hard with ice magic and stuff that so I couldn't beat the game. A random encounter stopped my progress. First time that's ever happened in a video game.
How often do you play games?
Probably about between 2 to 4 hours a day, and then I try to watch or gameplay footage.
Yeah.
A lot of my playing now is me eating like something and watching a pro play the game I like.
How do you think that became who do you think was the first person who realized that other people would like to watch other people play games?
We used to do it when we were kids. We'd take turns and I'd watch my brother play or I'd watch my friend play an RPG, but for a living, I had no idea.
That's crazy.
I mean, PewDiePie obviously was not the first
No.
to do it. He did it because he saw other people doing it. It just happened to blow up for him at the right time, right place. Reptarded said, keep up the great work, guys. Thank you. Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, it's okay. I still like you.
Well, thank you. Just don't have me right out.
Yeah.
If you're getting married, don't have me make the invitations or any type of anything that involves spelling.
It'll be you're invited without an apostrophe and RE.
Invited
It-
your. Yes. All right, guys. This is going to be a fun one.
Is it
It's Halloween.
okay?
Halloween is here. It's right around the corner. It's next Monday, right? Monday. And
Yep, it's
what
on
that
Monday.
means is all of the people that literally believe in not having fun ever are coming out to let you know that you're not allowed to have fun. Your kids are not allowed to have fun. It says, is it okay for white kids to dress up like Encanto characters? Experts discuss cultural appropriation.
Experts who, by the way, likely don't have children
yeah.
and would never have to be the ones saying, I'm sorry, sweetie, even though you love Encanto or you love whatever that movie might be, You're not allowed to dress up as that character you love because we're white and we're not allowed to do that.
I want to read some of this because it's the language. It's the I was a social science major that's written all over it. So it says, every Halloween, the phrase cultural appropriation comes up in conversation. Not with normal people, it doesn't. So what is that? How do we explain it to children? You don't, because they're children. They don't need to have it explained to them. That you're just ruining their lives. It's your own fault. And how can families make sure that Halloween costumes aren't distasteful? Boiled down, cultural appropriation is when someone dresses up as a person from a group to which they don't belong, mimicking skin color, clothing traditions, or hairstyle. Examples of cultural appropriation in kids' Halloween costumes that are described as Mexican or Cinco de Mayo that come with a sombrero or ponchos, Arab with robes, or Native Americans or the Native American princess theme they call it with a feathered headdress. These costumes often draw on racist or discriminatory stereotypes, says Shannon Speed, the director of the American Indian Studies Center, an associate professor in gender studies and anthropology at UCLA. Native American costumes, for example, depict people with extraordinary traumatic history of genocidal violence and brutality. Listen, okay. With adults, I could understand these arguments. I still think you're an overly sensitive douche. But with children, there is none of that malice to which you're attributing to wearing these costumes. You could say that the adult is ignorant of the oppression or whatever of these groups. I still think you're just being an anti-fun loser. But with children, they are not wired that way because they have not been through enough to understand what that means. They just want to portray something that is interesting to them, that brings them joy.
When you're pointing out that some costumes play on discriminatory stereotypes, you're correct if you're talking about Justin Trudeau.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I'll understand. Okay, blackface, totally. Yeah, that's a discriminatory stereotype.
That's the only one on there.
Yes,
that
with a legitimately hateful history. But when you're talking about a 10-year-old who wants to dress up as a character from Encanto or from Coco or
Moana.
Or Moana, or what was the other one? Raya and the Last Dragon.
They're just kids.
Any of these movies. Mulan. Jasmine and Aladdin. Yep. Any of these characters. They don't have the same malice, the same context at all. And it's ignoring that nuance is placing so many of your own biases and like your unflattering thoughts onto children who do not have those unflattering thoughts.
They also mentioned that you shouldn't dress up as prisoners because of the disproportionate representation of African Americans in the American prison system. You're literally not allowed to be anything but yourself anymore.
Well, they don't seem to mind if you dress up as an axe murderer. What's wrong with people?
Well,
why are you okay?
No, they're mad.
You're okay with that?
They're
Being
mad
a psycho
about
killer, but you don't want them to have darker skin or something. What?
They're mad about real life. Like, you're not supposed to go as Jeffrey Dahmer this year. That's bad. So these are the red flags for cultural appropriation. It says, does your child's costume represent a culture or race of people to which they don't belong? Does your child's costume play off stereotypes about a group of people? Does your child's costume celebrate or exploit characteristics of a group that aren't encouraged or accepted in daily life? They're children. They're not exploiting anything. They're just going to get some damn candy from a bunch of people on their block.
Totally valid point, Ian. If Halloween is about making fun of what's scary and frightening and what makes you fear for your life so that it has less power over you. That's essentially what play is all about, even in other species.
Yes.
That's what Halloween is about, and kids love that. Why is it okay to put fake blood all over yourself, dress up like an axe murderer, dress up like Jeffrey Dahmer?
People are murdered every day in this country. Isn't it offensive?
But dressing up with like a sombrero on is more offensive than trivializing murder. I mean, I don't agree with making rules about any of this stuff, but clearly it's a double standard. And because of the popularity of Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix, now you're not even allowed to dress up as him because he's a real person. I don't know. Like, where do we draw the line? It just depends on who you ask. And a lot of these people don't have kids, so they don't understand that they, clearly don't have the same biases they do.
I love it. That's that third one. Red flag is: does your child's costume celebrate or exploit characteristics of a group that aren't encouraged or accepted in daily life, like a murderer or a zombie, someone with rabies, like a wolf man, someone that would bite your neck and drink your blood, not encouraged in daily life.
Renfield syndrome. That's a real thing.
I played that character once.
Also, I want to point out this. Remember what you said about these are the people that don't have any kids?
Yeah.
It says, one question Varner suggests that you ask your child, how do the power of stereotypes play into your costume? They won't know what the hell you're talking about, you psychopath. They're children.
They'll be like,
what?
I like
stereo
candy.
what? I like stereos. What? You freaking nut job. They want to ruin everything, and you know what? I can accept you trying to ruin everything to adults. Leave kids alone. Leave them alone. Let them be wondrous. Let them push boundaries that they don't know are there because they're children. You ruin everything. All these people ruin everything. It just pisses me off.
I agree. Are you not allowed to dress up like a soldier because that
stolen valor?
Yeah, or it's like pro-military, so you're definitely for going to war for oil if you dress up like a soldier for Halloween. None of these things are getting extrapolated by other kids. This is all about experts who are in academia, who are extremely insulated from the real world. They don't know what people to actually talk about with their kids. They're trying to parent today's children for the parents.
And this is partly the parents in our society's fault for raising our kids on tablets and television and Nickelodeon and Disney and not actually
you know what? If you don't want kids to dress up like characters from another culture's story, then don't introduce that story in the first place. Don't make movies like Coco or Encanto or Moana or Mulan or any of these things. Don't make any of those stories if you don't want kids to like them and want to dress up as those characters.
Do we not want, is the idea to make everyone so terrified around other cultures that they won't spend any time around them anyways because they just don't want to offend anybody? Is that the point of this? The hell's the point of this?
The point of this is that they want to parent today's children on behalf of the parents.
Yeah.
Really. And I don't think that any real people outside of academia are having these conversations.
In 2016, Disney discontinued a Maui boys costume inspired by the film Moana. The brown outfit, intended to resemble a Polynesian person's skin and decorated with tattoos, sparked complaints of blackface. A cultural anthropology professor at Brigham Young, it's Tavita Kali, I think that's pronounced, at Brigham Young University in Hawaii, told the USA Today in 2016, the tattoos, which are common in to Polynesian chiefs, were removed from their cultural context by appearing on a Halloween costume. The Maui costume has two strikes, taking culturally significant symbols out of context and darkening the skin with a brown costume. I think it's different when it's a character from a movie or a TV show. Okay, if it's just like a generic costume of a generic,
then you maybe have this seed for a valid argument.
Exactly.
You're not even all the way there yet.
Exactly.
But if it's from a movie or TV show that was offered to kids, targeted at kids purposefully, why would you expect them to not want to dress up as the characters they love? Why do you hate fun? This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. They want
it's genuinely ruining all the fun. And this is now a concern also for adults. I think that adults can at least be held accountable for what they're wearing. The kids don't have a choice.
I say laugh at all of it.
I saw a tweet from a drag queen called Kim Chi, who is Asian, saying, if I cosplay a look from Encanto, would that be cultural appropriation? And there were comments ranging from absolutely to of course not. We would love if you dressed up like a character from our culture. So who are you supposed to listen to? And is there any way you come out of this situation not looking like a villain?
It was the girl who wanted to wear the traditional Japanese dress to her prom.
That was years ago.
But I'm just saying, you remember what I'm talking about,
There was a girl, who wanted to wear like a kimono dress to her prom, and she tweeted a picture of her dress, wearing her dress, and she was just this complete nobody, random person on social media that got put on blast by major media outlets for weeks and had her life ruined because of it.
It speaks to what you said for right here, just how undecided they all are. It says, for example, if your child is begging for a Mirabel costume from Encanto, is that cultural appropriation or are cartoon characters okay? Sometimes the rules are confusing to parents and experts don't necessarily see eye to eye about which costumes are fair game. So if they can't if the experts can't even decide, why the hell do the people have to?
Even if there was a consensus reached by all experts, you're not obligated to take your parenting decisions from experts.
Yeah.
It's your kid and your family, and you make the decision.
So
why do they think they're authorities? They're the moral authorities over us now.
It also says, if you have an inkling that your child's costume is offensive, choose another one. And I'm going to read it. Here's the list of the other things that they tell you that you should be aware of. The elderly. Don't dress up as old people, because not only is ageism unkind, it can target people who are disabled.
Wow.
So does that mean like somebody can't go as an
old Gandalf?
Yeah.
Don't be an old wizard.
Can't be an old wizard. Drugs or alcohol. Well, some adults might giggle at a toddler dressed as a marijuana leaf on Halloween. The message isn't cool. That's just moralizing. It's stupid, but it's just moralizing. Victims of genocide or war. Is that a thing? Are people going as victims of genocide or war?
I don't think so.
That doesn't seem like a thing to me. But
they even said Marilyn Monroe.
Yes, and it says, and don't go as serial killers. People are curious about murderer Jeffrey Dahmer following the release of Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, which has led to that costume being sold and banned in his likeness. Get over yourself. So what? You can watch the TV show, but to dress up as him for a costume party is somehow a step further? F off. Like, I'm sorry. And then we do have the 10 problematic costumes.
Yes. You cannot dress up as
Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer. You cannot make a joke about the Will Smith, Chris Rock slapgate.
I say we go as I'll go as Will Smith, you go as Chris Rock, and I'll just...
You can't dress up as the Queen
Elizabeth
because it's too soon. You can't dress up as Johnny Depp or Amber Heard because it is related to domestic violence and you're trivializing those issues.
Yes.
Nothing related to Roe v. Wade, which I don't think anyone was planning on that either.
I'll go as Roe. You go
just
as
a
Wade.
T-shirt that says Roe, and then
No,
the other
it'll be
T-shirt
like
says
bloody
Wade.
pants
Yeah.
with a white dress or something.
I go as Roe, you go as Wade, and somebody else can go as the V.
You can't dress up as Caitlyn Jenner. You can't dress up as anything related to COVID-19.
Okay, that I have a question about. Would you just end up going as like a test strip?
I don't even know.
Like, would
as
you-
like maybe you dress up as a spore.
Or I'll go as a
giant
something that's
syringe.
just as safe and effective on your
Oh,
shirt.
I love that. You can't dress up as a Playboy bunny because it trivializes the trauma that Hugh Hefner's ex-girlfriend Holly Madison went through in the Playboy Mansion. And you can't wear a fat suit, even though Brendan Fraser just did it in a movie.
Wait, so you can't go as a Playboy bunny, but can you go as Hugh Hefner?
I guess that's
Loophole.
still on the table. That's a loophole for you.
Loophole. Just go as wear what is it, like the maroon robe that he always wore?
I think the one thing I'll say is, like, if it's a kid, then don't put them in a sexual costume. That is a problem. There are kind of adult-looking costumes
The
for
one we
children.
talked about.
Yeah. I don't like that aspect of it, and I see that sometimes. And other than that, like, sure, don't do blackface. I'm pretty sure anyone other than Justin Trudeau already knows that.
Yep.
Anyone with a shred
Or
of decency
Ralph Northam.
knows or Ralph Northam.
Yep.
Anyone other than Justin Trudeau or
Thank
Ralph
you.
Northam knows that is just common sense.
Yep. We also have this thing that's the 17 most offensive celebrity costumes. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
We've got there's some. Kate Hudson went as a wild country cult. You can see them. There's Harry Hamlin as Sid Vicious, because we know that Sid Vicious pushed the envelope with the imagery. There's a lot of
yikes.
women going as Native American.
Yeah, Nikki Hilton,
I assume
Ellie
that-
Goulding, Hillary Duff, and Jason Walsh went as a pilgrim and a Native American.
You just look at that and you just think about, my gosh, the world was so much different before everyone posted stuff to their phone immediately after a photo was taken. Like, at the very least, somebody probably took this on like a crappy digital camera that eventually had to be brought home and put into an SD card reader so that they could put it on a computer and upload it.
This Heidi Klum one is terrifying. She dressed up as a Hindu goddess with many arms. Yikes. Scott Disick went as a Sheik or Sikh. Don't know how to say it.
I think it's Sikh.
Tia Mowry went as a geisha.
Not allowed.
Chris Brown as a terrorist, even though he is already
I like
a
just
terrorist.
generally a terrorist. I like just terrorists, not a specific person in general, just terrorists.
Lily Allen as Dr. Luke. Oh no.
Somebody should have gone with them as Kesha.
No. O.J. Simpson as a gynecologist. That's great. And Pamela Anderson as a Native American.
All the women just went as Native Americans.
So clearly they need to be educated. They need to learn and grow and do better.
And shamed.
And they need to be shamed publicly. Yes.
So, okay. We agree that blackface, you shouldn't be doing blackface. That's fine. To me, it was always about whether you were playing an actual person or like whether you were trying to portray an actual person, because you don't, given how much time people put into putting together costumes, you don't do it out of a place of hatred. You do it out of a place of enjoyment.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's your intention. Like, what's his name in Tropic Thunder? Robert Downey Jr. wore blackface for that movie for the entire movie, and that was extremely ridiculously offensive. Like, yo, you want to talk about being offensive? He was making fun of a guy that wants to be black. Like, that whole thing was offensive. And they'll say, no, he wasn't wearing blackface. He was making fun of a guy that was wearing blackface while he, okay, I understand that argument, while he was wearing blackface in a movie to sell tickets to make money. So, like, it's intention. Obviously, it's intention. If he can get away with it, you know.
The intentions of adults, sure, absolutely open for discussion and debate, and we can judge people's intentions if they're adults. But I hate that kids are also getting targeted in this conversation, and they're essentially being punished for liking movies that portray like other children from different cultures and loving those movies, and they're essentially accomplishing what they say they want to accomplish, right?
And then shaming you for it.
But you're celebrating another culture, you're being accepting and tolerant, but you still aren't doing it the right way. You can never win, even if you are a child with no bias, no ill intent in doing so. And it's also the parents just transposing their values onto their kids and indoctrinating them before they even have the chance to make their own mind up about it. Like, I saw another tweet from a parent that said they couldn't even throw an Encanto-themed birthday party for their daughter because they thought it would be cultural appropriation, and she has to refuse this kid what she wants on grounds that this kid really doesn't even understand because she doesn't have the context for it.
And like, nobody's going to stop anyone from another, nobody in their right mind would ever tell somebody, a black child, that they couldn't have a Batman or a Spider-Man birthday party.
Yeah, it's
because
insane.
It doesn't matter. It's about the character. It's about that child's love of that character and wanting to be able to celebrate it on a day that's special to them. Like, this stuff boggles my mind more than anything when they involve children. And that whole first article is all about a bunch of social science BS in trying to get parents to see the world through their lens so they can then affect your children. And that's evil.
Yeah, if you want to go as Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder, I think that would be fine. Anybody.
I just don't imagine anyone's gonna like do that. Like, nobody's gonna risk that these days. Like, at least I don't imagine.
I haven't even dressed up for like 20 years.
We should I'll go
do so on Monday.
Well, I saw one at one point that said like it was like when they cast there was the article that we didn't cover today about Ralph Macchio having to push back on Karate Kid being too white, as if there haven't been karate schools here in America for 70 years. Right? And it's extremely racist to think that only somebody of Asian extraction would do karate.
I think
who sees the world this way?
It seems like we're in a state of culture shock, like global culture shock, but we're blending. The cultures are blending now with internet, and
which is supposedly what they want.
I think it is good. It's healthy for the genome to have multiple genetic structures coming together, and then your body takes the strongest from both races, and then now you're a stronger human as a result from having multicultural parents or whatever. But the resistance against it, I don't like. I don't know where it's coming from. I know that the CCP is very Han supremacist. it's got a Han supremacy thing. I don't like racism. I don't like racial supremacy, saying you can't be that, you have to be that. I don't like that stuff.
I think Hollywood can't make peace with the consequences of the messages they've pushed for the last few decades.
Well, the second
essentially assimilation, integration, and complete diversity and multiplicity comes with some tensions, some conflicts. But if it's working the way that you said you wanted it to, don't switch the narrative on everyone.
Because then they're just confused.
Yeah. No one knows how to do anything right and respectfully. And that's what they want.
And the problem is the second that people start, like the second you give an inch to anyone that pushes back on you on stuff like this, you give them everything. Because then if you say, okay, this one thing is offensive, but this thing isn't. Like we even did it. Like, right? We're like, maybe you shouldn't do blackface. And I do believe that you shouldn't. But the problem is the second you give any type of credence to any of the pushback, they're going to
give them an inch and they take a mile.
Yeah, and then all of it's bad.
I think that the critics, these people, they want kids to not be ignorant. I mean, ultimately, the idea is they want kids to know about what cultures in the past suffered from, so that you don't go into a blackface scenario or you wear a Native American feather and not know that the European ancestors maybe even of that kid came over and killed off 90% of the population to settle their land. Yeah. And so as long as the kids know that, and they still are like, well, I still want to wear the cool costume, but the pain that those people experienced in the past, then that's the important thing, in my opinion. But that's up to the parent to educate the kid.
Yeah, and the experts want to take that responsibility away from parents. They want to be the parents now.
They're not experts either. By the way. Who gets to call themselves a cultural expert? That's nonsense. We're all experts.
Only amongst themselves.
People in gender studies classes and social science departments. That's who gets to do that.
And now they're butting heads with Hollywood that is offering movies like Encanto that kids are loving. It did really well.
Yep.
And the consequence of that is supposedly the outcome that they wanted, which is tolerance and inclusivity, and it's still not good enough.
But the problem is, it just leaves everyone scared and on eggshells. No one knows how to react to anything because they don't want. It weaponizes everyone's good nature that I think most people have. That most people don't want to be offensive or hurt another person's feelings or make a mistake that belittles somebody else's culture. But it also makes it harder for people to be open and free with their thoughts and their actions, right? You could do something with the best of intentions, but when you're never sure how you're going to be reacted to, how something you do is going to be reacted to, you're just going to choose to not do it out of fear of offending someone.
That self-censorship is a tactic used by totalitarian regimes to control the population and get them to turn on each other.
That's what we're doing here.
Well, that's what the banks are trying to do via corporations. Yeah. I don't like it. We don't have to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to Super Chats.
Do it.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. said, remember growing up and our parents were like, you can't make money playing video games?
I do.
Did they say that?
That's what. Well, it was just implicitly understood that it was a lost cause to play video games. Get outside, go do something. What are you gonna do with your life?
There was the meme of a newspaper ad that said like looking to hire a meme creator for a company. It was like $80K a year, and then underneath it says never give up on your dreams.
So true.
Like you can just create memes for companies.
Just whoever is behind all of these fast food restaurant accounts on Twitter.
And let's face it, most corporate memes are really cringy.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad. But you know what? Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Regatan said, play Genshin Impact. Is it Genshin or is it Genshin?
It's Genshin.
Genshin Impact because everyone cosplays it.
Never heard of that before.
Luis Aguilar said, Brett, which DC animated movies do you recommend?
Dark Knight Returns. Start there.
I would
and I would go with any of the Batman. I love all the Batman animated movies, but like even the bad ones, like Gotham by Gaslight. But there's a really good one that very few people that I know saw called Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I heard of that.
It sounds absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's freaking awesome. Everyone should go and watch that. It's Batman kind of runs headlong into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Ra's al Ghul teams up with Shredder. It's very, very good.
Any TV shows?
Young Justice.
Okay.
Young Justice.
Bobby said, I say it's racist if you don't dress your kid up in a sombrero and poncho. What, my culture is not good enough for you? Happy Friday, y'all.
Bobby, did you see Did you ever see the PragerU video of Will Witt going to a college campus wearing a sombrero and a poncho and a big mustache, and he goes to a bunch of kids and goes, "Do you find my outfit offensive?" And every single kid there finds it offensive. Then he goes and then just he goes into another area, and it's just all. I don't know where he was, but it's just like he asks a bunch of people that are actually Mexican. He's like, "Is this offensive to you?" And they're all like, "No, looks really cool." Like they couldn't understand why they like. I actually thought what he was doing, like the mustache was kind of, it was funny, but it was like very clearly like over the top. But like it was very clear that the people, like, they couldn't figure out why it was supposed to be offensive.
Well, the costume parodies itself.
Yes, and we all know that the kids just what's the word they always like to use? They look at the world through a different lens than people that actually work for a living, like as opposed to college
manufactured
kids who don't.
outrage.
Yeah.
Bring the Smoke said, I would love to help change culture, which is why I started a barbecue cooking show right here on YouTube. I'd love to work with Timcast crew. Thank you.
I don't know.
Bring the Smoke is a good name for that.
It is. It's a very, very good name. Logo looks cool too. I don't like. I get questions like about that a lot, very often, about like how they can reach out about employment. But that's
pitches.
No, it's
jobs at timcast.com is the official email that you're supposed to reach with that.
But I don't know how to. Like, I'm not. It's so far above my pay grade. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
The best thing to do is to have a show going that you can send a video to someone, get somebody's eyes on video, something you've created with video that's already done, so that we can be like, oh, we want more of that.
Mm-hmm. Donnie Biggerstaff said, how does cultural appropriation work if a white child wants to be the modernized Little Mermaid? Yeah. Well, they're just creating more and more questions.
Is that where we're going to end up like 50
anything.
years from now? Like,
there's been every single race of Little Mermaid.
Yeah. That's where we end up.
Bad Up said, go as Princess Diana with tire tracks on your dress. That's hilarious.
You could,
I would do that.
And then have like a little speaker behind you that plays Candle in the Wind by Elton John.
It's definitely not too soon. At least for me.
There was, you weren't even born when Princess Diana died. That was my mom loved Princess Diana. I still have like she had the Princess Diana Beanie Baby. Still have it.
I think she was killed by MI6.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of people that believe that was like it's a little too suspicious.
Ran her off the road.
A little too
paparazzi.
suspicious.
Bad Up asked, why can you be Ghostface but not Blackface? Good question.
Ghostface is a real person that's been multiple people.
Bobby said, so if I LARP as a dark elf and paint my entire body black to be in character, is that blackface?
Yes.
No,
yes,
they would say they would say that.
Your body gray. Dark elves are gray. They're not black.
Ah, there you go.
Potatoes for Seamus said Ian should go as a pack of Orbit gum. Just kidding. LOL. Much love, Ian.
Well, you should go as a graphene
funny.
dealer.
Oh, interesting.
Have like a big trench coat and you open it up and there's a bunch of graphene people.
I still haven't seen your Orbit commercial.
We should pull it up. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
What do I type in?
If you have like,
Orbit scissors gum commercial.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
I'm gonna check it right now. We're gonna.
Dragon Stalin 1001 said, "Is it cultural appropriation when one culture appropriated things from another culture but claim it as their own now?
Is it orbits or orbits of the Z?
Orbit, just orbit.
Gum.
Yeah.
Braids started with the Vikings.
Scissors,
braids started in multiple cultures, so there are some things that multiple cultures can claim as their own, and then ultimately it's a wash.
Is it this one?
That's it.
All right.
That's
Okay,
Graham.
Let's see it.
See you later, man. I'm having noodles.
What?
Dirty mouth?
I never saw this.
Clean it up with new Orbit Fabulous Fruitini and Sangria Fresca. Fabulous. For a good clean feeling, no matter what.
That was fun. We shot that in one day. The Perlorian brothers directed that.
What was her name?
Vanessa. That's Vanessa.
That visual for those of you listening on Spotify was Ian holding a pair of scissors to cut his nose hair.
That was fun.
Mirror.
We did that in two takes.
It didn't look like you actually
love
cut
it.
the nose hairs. It didn't look like you went in.
Yeah, you should have put some nose
Yeah.
hair extensions up there so
Yeah.
you can cut some real.
Yeah, I
ones.
didn't go. I didn't really. It was. You could tell it was fake.
Yeah.
They ran that over the Super Bowl. I was shocked.
That's
That's so
amazing.
funny.
One day of work, I made $18,000 over the course of
Amazing.
like 7 or 8 months off that thing.
Wow.
Like on replay,
One day of
like
freaking work. Yeah, for residuals. They sent me
residuals?
checks
Oh,
for like
okay.
$2,000.
That's freaking awesome.
It was
That's
wild.
awesome.
It was wild.
Matt said, Ian, check out Dan Carlin, Death Throes of the Republic.
I love Dan Carlin. Dan Carlin.
All right.
Alright,
Can you
let's
go
go.
back? I didn't get to. Can you read the one before that? Because I was looking for the.
It was from Dragon's Talon 1001. He said, is it cultural appropriation when one culture appropriated things from another culture but claim it as their own now? I.e. braids started with the Vikings.
Well, this is like there was the video game that had like the Princess Leia buns, and they said you can't do that because that's cultural appropriation.
From where?
From black culture, you're not allowed to do that either.
Got to watch out because what'll happen, like in the Romans' case, is they annihilated the Etruscans to the north and then just said all this stuff is Roman, but it was actually Etruscan. So like the winner will write the history to say that they created it when they actually have taken it.
All right, we're gonna keep going, and we will pick back up super chats once we get through Podluck. So we have first and foremost, Billy Eichner is singing. Everyone could get out their world's smallest violins here, possibly.
I'm playing it right now. You'll not be able to hear it because it is so small.
Yes,
But I'm playing it for you right now. Ian
Bro-
is playing his.
Only gnats will hear this.
Yes.
It's such a high frequency. Billy Eichner's Bros is the least successful rom-com to come out of Universal in this whole year.
It's amazing how that works.
However, I will say in their defense, this headline sounds worse than it is. There were two competitors, and one of them had Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson in it. The other had Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Those are obviously going to be way bigger draws than the actors in Bros.
Well, then it speaks to the poor planning they had to not just make it a streaming release. It should have been a streaming release from the get-go.
Yeah, it was set up for failure by being a theatrical release. I think that they'll learn from this, hopefully. And they had a smaller budget to begin with as well than the other two. So maybe they didn't expect it to outperform those bigger name projects. But it's only made back about half of what its original budget was. They have managed to pull in $11.5 million after using $22 million on production, and that's just production, not marketing added in there.
Well, then that means they've only pulled
It's
in
not
about
even half to get even.
Well, no, that's not even that because I'm checking.
I don't think this is even showing as bad as the situation really is.
22. It says it's made 11 million. That means that they've only keep about half of that.
Yeah.
A little bit more than half, so maybe about 6 million on the high end because they keep about 60% of the money.
Yeah.
So they're far and far away from their. And
Looks like this is a proper comeuppance for Billy Eichner.
He's insufferable.
Who on Twitter told the world that the reason Bros flopped is homophobia. He said that's just the world we live in, unfortunately, even with glowing reviews, great Rotten Tomatoes scores. Oh, well.
Imagine
an A cinema score, etc. Straight people, especially in certain parts of the country, like the flyover states, didn't show up for Bros. And that's disappointing, but it is what it is.
Well,
wow, you are insufferable, sir.
First of all, imagine living in a world where you still thought that critic reviews mattered, like to anyone. But second of all,
great Rotten Tomatoes score, though.
Imagine my shock. But also think about the fact that we're going into a recession and people are going to spend their money more wisely.
Yeah.
They're just not going to spend money on something they don't want to see. And Billy Eichner is one of the most grating personalities, both digitally and his on-the-street stuff in the world.
I sent you a street interview that he attempted to do back in 2016. Can we play that just to illustrate how annoying Billy Eichner has always been?
Yes.
I didn't even know it was him, but I've seen this video before.
Hold on, I'm going to start it. He really does have one of the most annoying personalities in the world.
Right.
Miss, are you lying low until all that La La Land hype dies down?
But what?
La La Land
Oh, honey, I don't know what you're talking about.
with Emma Stone.
Who?
Emma Stone,
Sorry, babe.
Ryan Gosling.
Okay, I know who that is.
Okay, it's a movie musical in L.A.
Definitely not going to LA.
No, you don't have to go to LA. It's just a movie about LA.
Yeah, babe. I'm sorry. I'm
Sweetie, don't babe me, okay? It's La La Land. A lot of
So
Oscar buzz.
condescending.
Could be Emma Stone's here.
4 kids. I'm not watching TV. But
Sweetheart, okay, it has Oscar buzz, and I saw Emma Stone do a Q&A, all right?
I don't know who you're trying to sass for a camera, but you got the right bitch to put you in a wrong motherfucking place.
Okay, thank you very
I
much.
love her. I love her. So shout out to that random woman on the street.
As far as I'm concerned, he just
told
got
Billy Eichner what for back in 2016. He's obviously a pretentious douchebag.
Always has been.
And has proven that even further with Bros. And we talked about it at the time, closer to when it first came out, no pun intended. And a big criticism was that it doesn't fit into the rom-com genre because it was very raunchy in its humor. They talked about threesomes and just a lot of like overtly sexual themes that aren't generally in rom-coms with straight couples.
Yeah.
So you're not really assimilating it to the genre. And secondly, if the audience that it's supposedly for is gay men to see themselves represented in a movie, you're not really thinking it through all the way. Because men don't like rom-coms as a genre, whether they're gay or straight. They're just not into that genre.
They get dragged there by their partners.
Yeah, so if you were relying on, I suppose, woke straight white women, awfuls, to come out and see this movie in theaters to make up for that budget of $22 million,
Yeah.
You were set up for failure from the start. And then otherwise, people said that it was far too hung up on its own cultural significance to be lighthearted and charming and funny the way you want a rom-com to be. And it was marketed like a successor in a way to like the Stonewall riots in terms of social and historical impact for the LGBT community.
Notice how I pointed out that that's why people had a more favorable take on Black Adam, is because they weren't selling it as something that was more than just a fun time at the movies.
Right.
All you have to do is make a movie that just says, hey, do you have a rough life? Do you have a life and you want to escape for a couple of hours? Go and see our movie. You will come out feeling refreshed and entertained. That's all it takes.
Bros also marketed itself as a first, and it really wasn't a first.
No.
I know that Love, Simon is an LGBT rom-com that came out all the way back in 2018.
Yep.
And that did far better than Bros. I think it did have a theatrical release, but it might have been on Netflix only. Streaming should have been exclusively where this was released in the first place.
It made it to streaming in less than a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the people who did like Bros, I feel they liked it in a disingenuous way that was only about what they thought it could, like how they thought it could indoctrinate the audience rather than make them laugh. So I saw this insane tweet about it saying, I stand with Billy Eichner. Bros is the funniest movie I've seen in a theater. If you don't like it or you won't see it, then you are a racist, homophobic piece of garbage and you should have your bank accounts frozen.
That can't be real. It has to be fake.
I don't know, but like, the fact that we're even on the fence about whether that's genuine says a lot, right?
Well, it's like what we were talking about earlier with the girls doing the thing about Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Right.
Like, we are in a time now that's so beyond parody that you can never tell
Yeah.
what the hell's real and what the hell's fake anymore.
Yeah, and even if this particular tweet wasn't genuine, there are probably people who feel this way.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Well, like, I mean, that's like, we need to do like more, like, you need to like vet everything you read just to make sure that you're not allowing somebody else, like, what is it, like, when they can control your emotion, they can control you. Be very careful, like, what you take in, and make sure you vet it to the highest extent so that you're not letting something that's not even real hurt you in a way that's just designed to hurt you for that sake, and not because they're actually saying something that they believe.
I get this like this obsession with purity, and if it's like you're a race, you're a this, you're a that, it's like you're not pure. If you don't follow my tactics, you're not pure.
Yeah.
That's what the Nazis did. They were all about purity. They're like, if you don't follow our thing, then you're not pure. You're not. You're this and that. You're not, like, dude.
Well, pointing out that irony is exactly why someone like Gina Carano got fired. She pointed out that she felt legitimately persecuted for her beliefs and compared it to historical events of the past and then was punished for it.
She wasn't pure enough for their values.
I don't like that on either side. Like, I feel like all sides do that too, where they push their ideas on people, and like they like people so long as they agree with what they're talking about at that time. But the second you stray from the narrative at all, no matter who you are, no matter what side you're on, the second you stray from the narrative, you're cast out and told, oh, bad take, oh, this, oh, that.
The reality, though, is people are dirty, they're weird, they're different, and it takes time for people to figure things out for themselves. People don't figure things out because you told them they figure it out because you put them in a position where they were able to figure it out for themselves. And usually that's with emotional kindness and like comfort. You make people feel good about being what they are, and then they'll understand what you're saying.
So we could use more of that in the world today?
I think so.
Yeah. How do we do that? Here's a better question. How do you do that online? Like, because that's where all
internet video like this,
all
conversation and communication. Sorry to interrupt
being
you.
unfiltered.
Not interrupting people.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was saying all these communication, all these snafus end up on the internet. They don't happen in the real world, at least far less frequently. You're not seeing these arguments in the real world. You're seeing them digitally. So big brunt of the miscommunication is happening in cyberspace, and that's where a lot of the unkindness and the problems stem from. Yeah,
having access to the algorithms on the social networks is important so that you can see if things are being censored. That's a good start. But also, like they say that the solution to bad words are better words, not less bad words.
There's been videos making the rounds yesterday and today about all of the times Project Veritas has shown how like just awful Twitter has been over the years. Like all of the people who've gotten caught censoring or talking about censorship from Twitter. And that's kind of a big part of it. So it sucks. But Billy Eichner, like I said, he doesn't need to be on...
Serves you right.
He doesn't need to be in the digital space to be annoying, because we just saw him on an actual street corner being really annoying to somebody who clearly didn't appreciate it. So couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Bros was karma for that street interview.
Yes, yeah, he's like that lady. He's like watching it fail and it's like, she's like really happy about it. All right, tell everyone about Quentin Tarantino, will ya?
Sure. Quentin Tarantino just clapped back at Kanye West, claiming to have invented the concept for Django Unchained. Kanye West allegedly said that he gave Jamie Foxx the idea that originally led to the script for Django Unchained. Yeah. And that Kanye claimed that was because Jamie Foxx was on the music video set for Gold Digger in 2009, where he had this concept that he would dress up like a slave and be like performing Gold Digger. And it was this really funny, edgy concept. Quentin Tarantino still seemed to have loved it. He was talking about it with Jimmy Kimmel recently, and he wanted to push back on the idea that Django Unchained was not actually his own concept. He said that he came up with it years before he ever even met Kanye, but Kanye had been in talks with him because he had this Kanye had this idea that he wanted to adapt all the tracks from College Dropout into full-length, full like theatrical budget movies.
It's kind of like what Taylor Swift is doing now with all her video. Like,
it shows that Kanye was kind of ahead of his time, and he's always had this big vision mindset like he has now. Yeah, not much has changed. I think just the introduction of thank you
guys so much.
I think just seeing Kanye for who he is on social media has made a lot of people think he's crazy, but before social media existed, he was the same person he is now. Yep. So yeah, I just thought it was funny that this was framed as like a clapback. Yeah. Because Quentin Tarantino didn't even say anything negative about Kanye. I think he understands what it's like to be lambasted on the internet for not being politically correct or with the times. Yeah.
Well, they're always going to shift it and make the text fit their narrative.
Also, the concept of doing the Gold Digger music video, like dressed up like a slave, like Kanye thought of, is actually like really funny and a good idea. I don't know why that didn't end up happening, but
Seems like they would have had an easier time doing that back in 2009.
Kanye seemed to think that this concept then went from Jamie Foxx to Quentin Tarantino and got stolen from him.
I doubt
I
it.
don't think that's
I
fair.
don't think that's fair.
Here's some other tidbits of Kanye news because it's the gift that keeps on giving, except it's all bad news.
This is the most blatantly like propagandistic article I've read in a while.
Yeah. Suspiciously, an anonymous source who claims to be a former business partner of Kanye's is now telling CNN that he has always had a bizarre admiration for the dictator Adolf Hitler. And
totally believable. Totally believable.
Here is a quote about his obsession. He would praise Hitler by saying how incredible it was that he was able to accumulate so much power and would talk about all the great things he and the Nazi Party achieved for the German people. This is just cartoonish.
Yes.
They said he spoke openly about reading Mein Kampf, Hitler's autobiographical manifesto. He expressed his admiration for Nazi propaganda. And this individual, who, of course, is choosing to remain anonymous so he doesn't have to answer for the lies he is peddling, stated that everyone in West's inner circle at the time of his 2018 album, Yay, were fully aware of his interest in Hitler. 4 sources, also anonymous, confirmed to CNN that West originally suggested titling his 2018 album Hitler before it was eventually released as Yay.
Remember what you said earlier? We were talking about stuff, and you said like that's something that the Nazis did well, which was divide, or what was it you said earlier?
Yeah, they were bringing the purity.
Yeah, before, like you said something about that, something even earlier when we were talking about something. You said they did something
like
well.
Totalitarian regimes, splitting people against each other.
Yeah. It's like saying that, and then somebody saying that you had admiration for them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just acknowledging that they did something that they were effective at something.
Hitler was effective at what he was doing. I mean, you could argue that he was effective, but he's an interesting case study because of how he was able to manipulate an entire nation and honestly an entire world of people. There were Nazis in New York City, rallying Nazi rallies in the United States because they were so into his message.
But they're conflating being aware of something and being aware of the power that something had.
That means you're celebrating it and agreeing with
appreciating the power of the atom bomb. I'm not advocating to drop atom bombs, but like look at what it did to Hiroshima. Like that's massive. And you could say there's words like wow, that's what are some words that mean like just huge and big, but they don't actually mean good. That's great. The word great, Alexander the Great. He was a murderer, like a mass murderer, but they call him great. It doesn't mean like morally good. It just meant that it was so huge and gross in scale that it gains the term great. But he wasn't like a good guy.
But we don't even know if what this person is saying is true because they remained anonymous in order to avoid accountability for what they said. They don't have any proof. It's
I don't believe any of it. Yeah, all this is total junk. Unless I see the video of Kanye saying it, I'm out.
Sketch Therapy says he doesn't, in the chat says he doesn't read any books. Why would the only book he ever read be Mein Kampf? That's exactly right. Remember when he said, he's like, right. I've never read a book in my life. Sketch
Debunked.
But this is like I said, this is like just the headline is the most propagandistic thing I've seen in quite a long time. Like it just so happens to come out right as everything.
They
bad
really
is
jumped the
to
shark
him.
with the Kanye hate at this point. I'm not listening to any of it anymore.
I think it's important not to be afraid of Nazism, not to be afraid of the ideas, not to be afraid because if you are afraid of it, it will find you and control you. You need to understand it so that you can move around it and confront it and control it and argue against it. Like it's worth knowing what Hitler thought so that you can counter those ideas.
Yep.
He was obsessed with the party politics. He loved party politics. If you want to think of yourself as a Republican or Democrat, you got to be really careful that you don't fall into ideology, man, because that can drive people totally dangerous.
I'm sure Kanye agrees.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a sentiment that he's expressed in the past.
All right.
And then another thing that happened, we misreported about the shutdown of Donda Academy.
Well, we didn't misreport. We were just, it has since
we didn't
been
have the
updated.
update that on the same day as Donda Academy supposedly shut down for the remainder of the school year, They reversed that decision, and another email was sent out to the parents and staff of
They're
Donda
like,
Academy.
lol, just kidding.
LOL, just kidding. Donda Academy is still up and running. They said, join us tomorrow in worship for the return of Donda Academy. With the help of our parents and community, we are back and returning with a vengeance. The children of Donda are going to change the world. Apologies for the late email.
Children of Donda.
See you bright and early.
Children of Donda sounds like a horror movie.
It's a very creepy tone. I don't like the sound of returning with a vengeance. I don't know what to make of it, really, or like why they suddenly reversed this decision. I'd love to know who the leaker is.
Yeah.
So they're probably making bank off of leaking these parents' emails.
Just a ton of money from
Right.
I imagine that TMZ has their own Kanye discretionary fund where anybody can spend any amount of money on
Right.
Kanye news. And before we move on, I want to make a quick. I found this article and I was going to talk about it earlier and I forgot, which is Greg Berlanti's Superman and Lois might be canceled soon, and that's a shame because it's actually the only good thing to be on the CW in like the last 10 since Arrow went off the air, in my personal opinion. It says it may be ending soon. Granted, the CW renewed Superman and Lois for a third season. However, Nexstar, that's the company that purchased the CW after the sale, the new ownership preferred cheaper, unscripted fare. Although Warner Brothers Discovery will still create content for the CW, that arrangement becomes uncertain in 2023. They were also talking about whether they might not want it to exist at the same time frame as Henry Cavill's Superman, which is coming back. They also lost one of the main actors, one of the kid who plays Jonathan Kent on the show. Or he plays either Jonathan or Jordan Kent. He quit the show over mental health concerns for next year. So it's up in the air. And the first two seasons of Superman and Lois were really, really good in a time when they weren't making much. Like all of the Arrowverse shows on the CW had gone well down the drain by that point. So to have like a show, remember the other day when we had discussions, like when was the last time we saw a functionally, like a good, healthy family on television?
Yeah.
This is actually an example of a good, healthy family on television. And it completely slipped my mind that day. So it is on HBO Max, and I do recommend going and watching those first two seasons. I do hope we get a third season, but I'm not sure. So, and now we have Firefest.
We have a womp womp.
The ultimate womp womp.
Billy McFarland, the mind behind the disastrous 2017 Fire Festival, got out of prison in March this year, and people have been keeping an eye on him, trying to see what his next scam might be. We think that we've found it.
I do love this. Like we were talking about the sociopathic nature of lawyers, of defense attorneys, and CEOs. I just love the idea that the dude goes to jail for a scam, and he's just like, time to make a new one. Like they don't have
He just cannot be stopped.
No.
Let's take a look at this TikTok from Billy McFarland.
Is it this one right here?
It's at the top of the article.
Okay.
He's unveiling his new plans for a treasure hunt.
Hey guys, it's Billy McFarland. As you might know, I effed around. And because of that, I definitely found out. Obviously, I've had a little bit too much time to think about this, but I do feel like the moment's right to start making this up to everybody. You might have guessed, but I'm working on something new. This time, it's a little
Will Ja
crazier,
Rule be involved?
but a
I
whole
need to
lot
know.
Bigger than anything I've ever tried before. I promise I'm going to tell you everything in November. But before we get there, there's one thing you need to know now. This time, everybody's invited.
Then he has this phone number show up briefly on screen, and if you call or text the number, it will send you an automated message saying, "Welcome to the treasure hunt. Drop your contact info to come on board. You going to join the ship? Once you add yourself, you get the first clue."
Will you get a cheese sandwich with it? This is what I need to know.
The first clue that it sends you is a YouTube video that's a lot of shots underwater. It shows a message in a bottle at the bottom of the sand, and it's just like very puzzling. It only has a couple thousand views, so I don't know if many people are interested. But this might be the beginning of his next stint in prison. Who knows?
It's
I encourage everyone to investigate for themselves.
It would be, but why don't you? I'm not sure if everyone here knows what Firefest was. Why don't you give everyone a quick breakdown of what that was? Because that was he went to jail for it, but a lot of people might have forgotten what that was.
Really, what he went to jail for was wire fraud.
Yeah,
I'm not super well versed in Firefest. I know about its successor, TanaCon.
Yeah.
That was the next year.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Tana Mojo followed suit and made a convention for all of her fans called TanaCon.
I forgot.
Which is extremely narcissistic, by the way.
Calling it your own name.
Where she overbooked a hotel venue by like 3,000 people. And all of these kids showed up and baked in the sun all day, getting like taken away in ambulances and having panic attacks. And like they were there, dropped off by their parents, totally unsupervised, unfed, dehydrated. I can't believe she wasn't like sued for that.
Yeah.
For real. But just there's a long history of disastrous real world events like this, pre and post COVID, including Astro World.
Yeah, I think he just settled as like the first of the lawsuits Travis Scott did in the Astro World thing. I don't know how he's going to pay for any of that.
We also covered Revolve Fest that happened earlier this year.
Yep.
That was another disastrous one.
We
just saw the When We Were Young festival. That was all emo nostalgia bands. And that was an interesting case because promotion for When We Were Young started before all of the acts, or I think any of the acts had agreed to show up. So they announced a lineup of bands and artists, none of whom had heard of what this festival was or agreed to do it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it just fell into place, and by random chance they agreed to show up. Some people are saying that one was a disaster too. I'm not hearing that much about it yet, other than that it was a success, but that was in Las Vegas.
Like a whole genre of like documentary series about like horrible festivals that go wrong.
I love it.
Like
I love the drama.
No, thank you.
I wouldn't go to them, but cautionary tales.
My more libertarian principle says if you go to a Firefest sequel, you've got what's coming to you, and like you get scammed like that, you kind of have it coming to you.
I also saw another headline that said the same island where Fire Festival was organized is now being used as like an enclave of crypto millionaires who are all living in condos there.
Oh, that's so
in like
weird.
A community. I don't know what's going on there. It sounds like a cult. So there's an update on Billy McFarland for all of you interested.
Jared Leto's up there giving them like advice
Jared Leto is having a getaway with all of his cult members there.
He's just giving them crypto advice.
We need to look into Jared Leto's next gathering.
Yes.
I'm gonna look into that and maybe do some investigative reporting.
Have to wear all white.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to super chats. We got some here.
Okay, Bobcat said, I still want to see Ian, Elon, and Isaac Arthur do a near-future space tech stream about orbital rings and tethered rings.
Can you tell me about orbital rings?
Yeah, well, you could do a lot of things with an orbital ring. You could send an electric charge through one and maybe deflect asteroids.
Tethered rings?
Tethered rings, like tethered to the Earth, so that you could have space elevators going up to the ring. That's cool. I'd always thought about the elevators going up to... Yeah,
talk about
around.
Dreaming big.
Whoa.
Elevator to space.
That's a great idea.
Where does an elevator to space stop?
At the geosynchronous orbital platform.
Oh, there's an actual answer. Holy crap. I didn't know there was a... Okay, so it's like... Okay, so then where do you go from there?
You take like a shuttle to another platform like above Mars and then take the elevator down to the surface.
Dude, who's going to build all this stuff?
Elon.
Probably a lot of humans having a lot of fun. You can also use like orbital slingshots and stuff where you magnetically slingshot things into the other orbit so you don't have to use propulsion that way.
Will there be like crazy...
So eco-friendly.
Yeah. Will there be like coyote, like their own version of coyotes, like sneaking people into these places?
Undoubtedly.
Ooh, wow.
The universe is wild.
There's going to be some there's going to be some great sci-fi ideas to come out of that type of stuff.
Creative Juice said Dr. James Naismith, a Canadian, invented basketball. Is the NBA full of cultural appropriators? Where does it stop?
It never does. Well, that's the thing. They want it to be ambiguous so that you just give up from the beginning and never try, because you ask the question, where does it stop? How do I know if my idea is bad? How do I know if mine is appropriation?
Also, I would think like I'm not being culturally appropriate would be the way if I was like wore a Native American headdress, I would not be appropriate. Why would that be culturally appropriate? If I'm doing the wrong thing, that doesn't make any sense.
Appropriation is a term used for like you're taking it without permission, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Or if you adopt it and claim that you invented it.
Cultural requisition.
Yeah, it means
basically.
take without the owner's permission, and it also means suitable or proper.
Yeah.
So like what? It means both. Those things are totally
the English language
asynchronous.
is confusing.
It's like that meme. It says like, imagine not like English not being your first language, seeing yacht and not just giving up.
Coetro Jones said, Ian, off topic, but I want to start a platform for farmers or ranchers and their customers to connect directly. Should I build it on the blockchain? If so, which one and why?
I don't know if blockchain is the best solution if you're looking to make a decentralized service. I know that Nostr has a lot of promise. It's better. Apparently, it's better than the Fediverse. I've talked to Bill Ottman a lot about that. It's Nostr. Although I don't know how good that is to start a service on right now, but I'm interested to find out.
I wonder if they could be involved in Public Square, where,
Highly recommended if you haven't looked into Public Square. That's a good way for people to find you. It's an app.
It's also difficult because there are so many people still in this country who don't have internet access, and that's something a lot of people don't know. Johnny Derp said, "Wars not murder, Ian. Conquer and murder are not synonyms. Weeding out the neighbors in the BC era was self-care. That is
okay.
Oh my!
It wasn't murder the Macedonians, Alexander's people, because they were righteous, but it was definitely considered murder to the Persians, who were like, why are they here?"
Francisco Sanchez Jr. said the rapper West Side Gun has a 10-album series named Hitler Wears Hermes, and I've not heard a peep of criticism on that.
I think of also like the amount of people that use religious imagery that use like negative depictions of Jesus in their art and stuff like that for
that's extremely common, but it is considered acceptable. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was just because I was listening to Machiavelli the Dawn, the 7-Day Theory the other day. It's got this incredible, if not maybe slightly offensive, art on the cross.
I mean, even Demi Lovato's new album, which Ben Shapiro reviewed, by the way.
So weird.
Funnily enough.
I'll always picture Ben Shapiro wearing headphones like this, bopping on a bed, like sitting down, listening to, he's like, I love, he's just listening to, like,
love Demi Lovato.
Miley Cyrus and
Demi Lovato's new album, Holy F, is... the album art is her sitting on or like laying on a cross in like bondage gear.
And Madonna.
Like, that's not even controversial or subversive anymore, which makes it disinteresting.
Also, it seems more mean-spirited when it's not subversive anymore. It's
right.
It's like when it was subversive.
Like, I know that this isn't interesting, but I just hate you so much that I'm still going to do it.
Back in the day, you could have just assumed like, man, like you probably don't hate me. You're just jumping on the bandwagon and being edgy. Now it's just like, I hate your guts.
I want to bully you.
I just want to hurt your feelings.
Matt said, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but that Madonna's actual legal name that she was given at birth is Madonna.
Oh, so it's not even her fault.
I don't know if that's true, but I heard that, which is crazy.
She built her career around that.
Right.
Yeah, Madonna Louise Sisson.
She was actually named that.
Okay.
Matt said, any thoughts on YouTube handles?
I think like ours automatically became at Pop Culture Crisis, but like they introduced YouTube handles now to make it easier for people.
Yeah, I got to do that for my channel.
Yeah,
they just default to whatever you originally had.
I think it was. I have to double check on that though, but I like because of the
I don't
hierarchy.
like change.
Yeah, well, you're like, no wonder we're such good friends because like, nobody hates change more than me.
Remember when they had to like integrate Google Plus into YouTube, and you couldn't have an independent like YouTube account anymore?
Yeah.
That was like your own username instead of your legal name.
Yep.
Ugh, it's such a violation of privacy. T-Bone said, Ian, do you think Elon will bring everyone back to Twitter?
I don't know about everyone, but I think that he'll unban a lot of accounts.
Well, it's already happening from what I've seen.
I want my accounts all 26 of my past accounts to get unbanned right
just
now.
Show up one day on your phone.
That would actually be a nightmare. I don't want everyone to see what I was tweeting back then.
But also, like, did you see the video of him with the sink? He definitely looked like he was having.
Yeah.
It was definitely not a prop sink. He was definitely.
Elon was struggling to carry that heavy ceramic sink.
He mentioned putting together a bunch of like a new administrative board to talk about who to bring back and how to bring people back. I think the community is the best way to go. Let the community do banning and unbanning of things.
I think there should be a better appeals system where you have a human contact.
Yeah, on Minds there's a jury system. So if you get banned for someone reports you, it goes to the jury, basically people that opt in and they want to be part of the jury. They'll vote like, did this violate terms? Yes or no. If enough people say yes, the content gets banned. Then you can appeal it. It goes to a new jury. If they say yes, this does violate, it gets rebanned again.
There's got to be a bunch of like
Parler.
No, that's Minds.
There's got to be a bunch of shit posters who just want to be on a jury so they can vote against.
Right, but if you vote against something and it actually does violate over and over, and then your account has a tendency to go against what's right, then you'll lose value in the system as a jury.
What is against the rules?
Yeah, I see. Well, how do we know what's right?
You have to accurately decipher the terms of service and then say yes or no. This did violate. It's not about what I want to be on the site. It's did it violate the terms?
Yeah. Well, what terms are there?
On Minds, it's whatever's legal in the United States is legal on the site, and that's in Connecticut state law.
Okay.
Except for then you have things like spam, which isn't like constitutionally not talked about legally in the United States. It's a social network thing. So spam can get banned. What else? Doxing can get banned.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Porn, child doxing is maybe. Well, doxing is weird, man, because we used to have phone books where everyone's info was public anyway. We just didn't have a public forum for someone to go.
Yeah, but you could opt out of being in the phone book. You didn't have to choose to be in the phone book.
Mm-hmm. Will Cybernaut said, "I just became an Ian stan." Well, welcome to the club.
We're all Ian stans here.
Mm-hmm.
Stan tall.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Breaking: Mary goes as Billie Eilish for Halloween. Not gonna happen."
Why not?
Not gonna happen.
Why not?
I don't like her.
You don't like Billie Eilish?
Also, I hate to even admit this, but people have like compared me to her, and it's like, I was born first. You're comparing her to me.
You're older than her by like what, 2 days?
No, like by at least a year.
Yeah, she's 20.
I don't.
Yeah, because she's not old enough to drink yet, so you're at least 2 years older than
Yeah.
her, or a year and a half older than her, I bet.
Yeah. I came first, so
Billy was born December 18, 2001. What about you?
August 14th, 2000.
Oh yeah, year and 3 months.
And me and the internet artist over here just literally like wilting away.
When were you born?
86.
Good year.
Yeah.
I was 79.
Mm. All right.
Stay young. Genetic age is different than solar age.
That's well,
but you know that.
Live well. Like I think that I managed to not look as old as I could by now, given the amount of mistakes I made in my youth.
I cut sugar out of my diet when I was 28. Not totally, but I stopped eating like bags of Kit Kats. My God, everything got so much better, and my body stopped aging. It actually started to get younger. It was crazy. Like I got less puffy.
Reversed.
Yeah,
have you followed up, or have you followed in any of the stuff about that says like that the sugar industry paid a bunch of money to make the fat industry look bad back in like the
low fat craze in like the late 80s was about pumping sugar into foods to make them more delicious.
Yeah.
And it really demonized fat, but healthy fat's super important. I mean, trans fat can be pretty nasty though.
And you mentioned cereal. That's like the biggest place where that is.
I saw
cereal.
this. Again, I don't know if this is true. I always say that before I make a statement like this, but like I saw this this rumor that there's proof schizophrenia, like rates of schizophrenia, like case numbers actually went up after the adoption of grains as the predominant thing like that we consume in the American diet. That like case numbers of schizophrenia have gone up significantly since then, but it's a lot of worrying things about that.
Do you think TikTok is actually causing people to have body like spasms and tics?
No, they're just attention seekers.
You think they're not actually developing it? Like you don't think there's a way that in their brain, like they do it enough, like it starts that way in their brain, like it's like quit making that face, it'll get stuck that way.
Because tics, like in real cases where people have tics, like Tourette's, it's a neurological thing that you can actually go into their brain and physically change their brain structure to stop it from or make it less severe. That's a real thing. So you can't just change your brain structure by watching TikToks.
That we know of.
So
that we know of yet.
In the past, then, I do have one question since Halloween's on Monday. What has been your favorite costume that you've worn in the past?
Oh, well, I felt called out when they mentioned the prisoner thing because I have been that in the past when I was like 10.
Any
I
specific?
dressed up as...
Did you go as a specific prisoner, or you just went as a prisoner?
just a prisoner. Yeah. The past, more recent years, I just dressed up on All Saints Day as a saint.
Oh.
And my school would go all out. We would all do a costume contest for dressing up as saints, and a lot of them did kind of gory ones because if you dress up as a martyr, you can hold your have a prop that you're holding your own head, your beheaded head, or have a bloody fake cut on your neck, or
So they got to do
one
the
year
makeup
I
and
had.
everything?
Yeah, I dressed up as a saint who gouged out her own eyes. And I had these bloody tears, and then I won a prize for that. Then the next year I won first place dressing up as Our Lady of Sorrows with actual fake tears running down my face and a big crown.
Did you see the video of the fake Kim Kardashian of the
CGI
CGI
tear? No, I have to look into that.
So guys, look up. There's
suspicious.
a video where she's they say she's crying in an episode of the Kardashians, and somebody's the tear looks really, really fake, and I can't tell if it's just a fake.
But you
tear.
can literally just take any set. You can just take a dropper and just add a fake tear. But
yeah,
why would you go to the effort of CGI?
I keep seeing on Twitter at the top banner, it'll be this video that you've been seeing has been doctored, officials say, experts say, doctored, video's been doctored, doctored. The last 2 weeks, I've seen a lot of that.
I'm not believing any of that as long as until they can tell me who the hell the expert is. Who is this expert and what makes him such an authority? I ask you.
Very weird.
I ask you.
Will Cybernaut said, Billie Eilish is great value Mary.
Yes.
So true.
Well, Kirkland Mary. Remember, here we call them Kirkland Mary. That's
Is that a Minnesota thing?
No, that's from out here.
Oh, really?
I would just call them Discount Mary.
Okay.
Mine's a more all-encompassing, inclusive term, not brand specific.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave out people who don't live in an area where you can get great value products.
That's true inclusivity.
That's true inclusivity.
Rega Tan said, Mary is August 2000. I'm February 2000. I win. I would like to see the age breakdown of our viewers. That would be interesting.
That'd be awesome.
I think I've seen I think they skew into my age range. I don't know if that's just because they my natural interests in what we started covering when this channel started just seem to fall in line with people that were my age.
And Rega Tan is on the younger side then.
Yep.
Anyone born after 2000, please tell me.
We
got to stick together.
In the chat, someone says great value is not as good as Kirkland. They chose Kirkland over Great Value. I'm not sure if I have an opinion.
More of the off brands.
I consume more Great Value because I just don't go places where there's a lot of Kirkland products. But either way,
Kirkland is owned by Costco.
Yeah, I don't go to Costco. I go to there's a Walmart.
Walmart owns Great Value.
I love the story that the CEO of Costco threatened to murder somebody because they wanted to raise the price of the Costco hot dog deal.
Yeah, somebody's there was a meme that said everyone's the prices are going to be higher, it's inflation, and then it's his Costco CEO is I'd rather burn this place to the ground than raise the price of the hot dog.
I would rather burn this place to the ground with you in it than raise the price of this damn hot dog.
Yeah, well, all the other food is super cheap. Somebody pointed out well, the other stuff on the menu is not that cheap. Most of it is. If you've ever been to a Costco and gotten you might not get the hot dog.
Not got the hot dog though.
But there's a bunch of stuff on that menu that's all very, very reasonably priced. And I kid you not, we were there, me, Andy, and Lydia a month ago, and I felt so bad for the guy working there. He had to be the saddest, most unhappy looking person that I've ever seen. In a very long time, to the point where I was looking, I was please tell me this is one of those places that actually has the tip thing that they turn around where they don't actually earn the tip because it's just them turning an iPad around, but they didn't have it. I was hoping to help this dude out because it just seemed like he was having the worst day ever. And then the other lady that was working there, and this is what I think it was from, she was the happiest looking person you've ever met in your entire life. And you can tell just maybe he was having just kind of a bad day, but this lady's like over the top happiness was just pissing him off.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're coming to the day and you're just meh, whatever. And this lady's just being annoying. And it's like she doesn't mean anything by it. She's just having a good time. But it's like disparate personalities clashing, working in this very small space.
It's like when you have a roommate, or when you're the roommate that goes and works out, and then you come back and your roommate's on the couch, like watching, and you're like, how you want to get him to work out?
Yeah.
You're in that like euphoric state. And it's like when you're the other one, you're like, oh my God, my annoying roommate's back and is gonna all this energy.
It's it wasn't a Trevor Wallace skit, but it was like living with a finance bro once like crypto got big, and it's like a guy comes in, he's like dude, and he just won't shut up about crypto to this dude. He's like, I'm literally living less than paycheck to paycheck. Shut the hell up.
Bad App said age, sex, location. Everyone 32 male Earth.
Say that again.
Bad App is giving his age, sex, location. He's
Yeah,
asking for
okay.
everyone to do it.
ASL, man. Well, I was American Sign Language was ASL where I went, but I forgot almost all of it.
Bobcat said, Ian, check out Isaac Arthur's videos on orbital rings and tethered rings. The ideas are even more versatile than you said. You can build planets.
I'm gonna look at some of these. We've got some birth years here, guys. They're not
let's
super
see 'em.
chats. We've got 1974. Should I read the names? Is it rude? They volunteered the information. Johnny Derp, 1974. Serge says 1915. Ellen says 1974 in February. Bree Hawk, 94. We're getting a pretty good
Great
range
year,
there.
by the way.
John in the Future, 89. Wow.
Lots of
Huge.
diversity
That's
in
Teenage
age.
Mutant Ninja Turtles all the way.
Potatoes for Seamus, 1821. Holy crap. We've got
Wow.
He's still alive.
yeah.
He lived through the potato famine.
Isaac Lucian, 1978. Disco Baby.
Oh.
Disco Baby, not disco, comma, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luis Aguilar, 27, male, Davis, California. So we've got
This is fun.
Yeah, we've got people of all age ranges there. I like it. It means we're reaching out.
Can the PCC live chat turn into a dating app?
Undoubtedly. I used to make a lot of YouTube videos, 10 years ago or so, and people that would watch my videos end up getting married.
Like people in the comments section?
Yeah,
of
they'd
your
start
video?
chatting, and then they'd make, because they were making
What?
videos too, and then they'd see each other, and they start talking, and now they're married.
That's so funny.
We need movies to be made about that. That's what the real romantic comedy should
Their
be
kids
about.
turn out great too.
About,
Like,
meeting on Twitter.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
internet video, baby.
Twitter's like literally. I would rather meet somebody on Tinder than
No,
on Twitter.
I know people who met on Twitter, and I've held their babies.
That is incredible.
It happens.
That's
amazing. Internet's a powerful place.
That's still not a good argument for Twitter existing. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not.
You get
at all.
what you
enough for me.
give.
Waffles Sensei said, "Can I get a paid for happy birthday from my peeps at PCC? Tomorrow is the day, and Elon already got me the best gift I ever could have asked for. Happy birthday, Waffles Sensei!"
And
Happy
not
birthday,
not
dude.
just happy birthday, man, but like not just you, but Dane was also having the day of his life. So
You and Dane are on top of the world right now.
you for your birthday, and Elon Musk, and Dane just because he was so glad to see Elon Musk just giving it to everybody.
Yeah, he
that
gained
deserved
like
it.
2 pounds of muscle just from pure excitement.
Yeah, he did.
I'm glad you got some good news.
That is very good
Happy
news.
birthday. High Voltage 75 said 86 Club here too, Brett. High five.
86. My brother would love that.
86.
He's a big fan.
And then in 87, the Minnesota Twins won the World Series, and then they won again in 91. But yeah, 87, 86. So I was 1 year old when we won the World Series for the first time.
Bad App said, "Happy birthday, Waffles. Taco Bell breakfast wins."
I got a message in Slack about Taco Bell that got me very excited.
Taco Bell breakfast isn't bad.
I've heard very good things. I wouldn't eat it, but that's like I'm a McDonald's breakfast guy. If I
I
have
stopped
What are
eating the shells, the tortillas. I've kind of cut back on tortillas. I just eat the innards
But they
now.
have something
Not
called the
Taco Bell.
naked chicken chalupa, where it has a chicken shell.
Oh, by the
And
way,
they also have a naked egg chalupa that's for breakfast.
by the way, guys, you don't
Eggshell.
understand
An egg.
this, but Mary is a connoisseur.
I love
of Taco Bell.
Okay.
We need to get you Taco
Dane
Bell.
was just saying, like, I only ever see you eat mac and cheese and candy. And I was like, I really am a child, aren't I?
Well, I was like earlier. I was like, yeah, she likes
I
color
like Taco Bell, mac and cheese, and candy.
and pretty pictures with
And
colors.
pretty colors
You like
and shapes.
you eat kimchi at all?
I've had it. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Need
Yeah.
some later.
So, but yes, there was a good message in the Slack about Taco Bell. I'm out of place here because everyone here's like either keto or they don't like any of the bread or grain, and I'm here like I'll take all the bread and all the grain.
You literally dip French fries in mac and cheese.
I do.
It doesn't get more carby than that. I love it.
Or I literally buy like French bread or Italian bread to put in soup to eat with soup and stuff like that.
Nice.
I love bread.
Yeah, it'll bring you back from the brink of starvation. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but then it'll just keep you there, right on the brink of starvation.
Well,
so
what it would do is because it would make you tired. All the I'd eat right before the show, and I'd be like,
yes.
If you overdo it.
Yeah.
Center Conservative Mom 98 said 1998. Mary, I was shocked I was older than you. Yeah, I don't know. Some people say I seem older than my age, like my late 20s or something. They said
in personality and in linguistics, yes.
You're like, trust me, you look like a child.
You look like a child. I will sometimes accidentally refer to her as a child when we're working, and then I have to apologize later and be like, it's not meant to be condescending. It's just that I'm a lot older than you.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not meant rudely.
Bad App said we can get hitched at Taco Bell, but you plan. Yeah, I'm the problem, right?
He's like, I'll buy you whatever you want off the dollar menu at McDonald's, but you plan.
They don't even have a dollar menu anymore.
I know,
really?
It's very sad.
It's a travesty.
It's very tragic.
What do they have, a $2 menu, or they just get rid of it altogether?
Got rid of it altogether. They used to have like the vanilla ice cream cone on there for $1.
Remember those Choco Tacos?
Those days are over.
Choco
they got rid of the
Choco Tacos are
gone.
over too.
Yeah.
They're gone.
They didn't sell enough apparently.
Smash hit in the 90s, those things.
Things just aren't the same.
I got clowned once because I used to get when you go to like an ice cream truck, I would get the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with like the gumball eyes, and my friends would just make fun of me mercilessly, and I could never figure out why. I'm like, why is that funny to you? Nobody ever explained it to me. Also, by the way, somebody needs to make an app that tells you where all of the ice cream trucks are at any given time.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's weird. They're kind of disappeared. Like, I didn't see any.
I think there is one like that. There's I saw an app that was like that, but it had very low rating and not a lot of people are using it. But you need to get one that's basically like then all of the ice cream truck drivers who want to increase their business sign up so that they can be found by delightful people everywhere who want to consume ice cream goodness.
I don't know why. I just think food from food trucks is extra bussin'.
It's supposed to be, right? It's like the more unsanitary it is, the better it tastes.
What's bussin'? Is that dirty?
Well, Ian, your hair is not permed. Or
speaking of generational differences,
bussin'.
Bussin' is like
so effing good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, food trucks are nice. That's like a way of life out in LA.
Yes.
A lot of late night food trucks.
Just like Brett says, you can enjoy your California burrito for lunch while watching Pop Culture Crisis at Pacific.
Ooh, delicious on multiple levels there.
Mm-hmm. All right, there's a couple more.
Potatoes for Seamus said after the dating show, the couple can go to Waffle House for a nice dinner.
Yes, it's not a Waffle House, it's a Waffle Home.
There's no such thing as breakfast, lunch, or dinner at Waffle House. It's just all the same stuff.
I've never been. Is it new, Waffle House?
No.
I mean, when I say new, I mean like in the last 20 years.
No, I think older than that,
House?
probably.
Older than that.
I hear a lot about it.
I get clowned on going there too because I get a burger from Waffle House sometimes.
Is it 24/7? Is that why? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should try it though.
It is kind of interesting. It's still 24 hours too, right? It's like
they've been around.
Always will be.
1955. That's old.
The only one that didn't bow to the COVID pressure. They're like, we're staying open 24 hours. We don't give a crap if our employees get sick.
Bad Up said, I'd let you order off the Cantina menu, baby.
See, dude, that's all the moves right there.
Nice.
Like, that is how you woo a woman. That is how you woo a woman, I tell you.
Potatoes for Seamus said, when is the wedding of Bad Up and Waffle Sensei? I would love to see that.
Waffles app. What would the name be? Bad App Sensei? Who takes whose name?
What's the ship name?
Yeah.
We want to know.
Bad Sensei. Bad Sensei.
I think Bad Sensei is where it's at.
Bad Sensei
Waffle
sounds like
app?
I think of like Bad Robot, the J.J. Abrams production company. Bad Sensei sounds like somebody started like Simu Liu started his own production company. Let's go. All right.
Those
guys.
are all the super chats.
Thank you. Ian, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me, Brett.
Let everyone know where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me tonight at TimCastIRL on YouTube. That is youtube.com/I think TimCastIRL, but search for it and you'll find it. I'll be there at 8 o'clock p.m. You can also follow me, Ian Crossland, across pretty much all social media networks. Send me a message wherever. Hit me up, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, we have to figure out you guys have a handle yet or not.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, figure it out. Mary, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mary Archived if you want to see pictures of me. And if you want to hear my thoughts, you can follow me on Twitter at Mary Archived. And
Not inane thoughts?
What?
Not inane thoughts?
Yeah, they're inane. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
They're memes too. There are only a few days left for Jeremy's Razors competition to earn his $250K prize. You can help us earn points in that competition by clicking on our referral link below, and it gives you a whopping 35% off of a Daily Wire Plus membership. That is a chunk. So help us out. I'm impressed with the amount of points that we've racked up so far. And also, I wanted to shout out something that we should shout out more often, the PCC subreddit. I want you to submit all of your memes, all of your clips about the show or about anything we talk about there, and we want to do meme review again as soon as possible. That was a fun time.
Perfect.
It's being specifically requested.
Yes. We're gonna be doing a meme review as soon as possible. Also this time, because last time before we had actually committed to meme review, I was checking it intermittently. Now I'm not checking it, just to make sure that it's all brand new.
Yeah.
Before I had seen a bunch of them
because you guys want to see our fresh reactions to your memes.
But also there's something to be said, guys, that sometimes like when people will be like, oh, like I love this thing you talked about today, and my brain just like when the show's over, like I'm like, what? I said
just
that?
completely memory hold everything that we talked about.
Like some people are like, what did you talk about on the show today? I'm like, we talked about this, and then like it just goes, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, when you're
like
in flow state, it's almost, I mean, maybe not impossible. That's why I started making internet video. To be honest, I was like, I don't remember my thoughts. I have to write them down. I couldn't write fast enough, so I started making video.
I figured it was just a coping mechanism from just doing as much as you do talking about as much stuff all the time every day. That's actually specific to a topic that you're just like, it kind of goes out. Like I'll remember it if somebody says you said this. I'm like, oh yeah, I did say that, right? But like otherwise, like I don't remember. Like I'm gonna be like, what did we talk about today? Wakanda Forever and I don't know.
Someone in the chat just said, give love to these crazy kids for letting us have a spot of happiness today. That's really sweet. Thank you. And another person called us out because we didn't show Hannah Claire her meme review clip.
We'll do that.
The one that was 6 hours of work. We promised to do that next time she's on the show next week.
Whoever made that one, could they post it again to the top? Because I had trouble finding it. I think I was looking for it that day and I couldn't find it. Maybe repost it to the top, and we will show that to Hannah Claire next. Won't be next week because we will not be here on Tuesday. Right. I also want to make an announcement, guys, that we will not be here next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The goal is to be back for a show on Friday. Mm-hmm. Carter will be on with us, and I believe Ian is also going to be on that day, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to be talking. You guys are going to fill us in about some upcoming news that's pretty big.
Very exciting, yeah.
All right, so we will not have shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If anything changes, we'll be updating you in the community tab on the YouTube page, but we will be here on Monday, guys. So if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Brett Dasovic. I don't post a lot of pictures, but I post a lot of skating clips, and I post tons of memes in my story. You
highly curated Instagram story from Brett Dasovic.
There to make you laugh and not make life too divisive. That's what it's all about. And then for the show, we are here Monday through Friday. Normally, like I said, not next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but usually Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to follow us on social media, we're at Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, on Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Also, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd rather listen rather than watch. And then I do want to also impress, I would like everyone, please, if you're not following the channel already, please hit the subscribe button, like the videos, leave comments on the videos, share them. I don't push that enough, but it is one of the best ways to kind of get this show out there and share it with people and help us grow as a channel is to just subscribe and share it with your friends. So we look forward to being back. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye. Later.